Chris, Unhinged. How's it going, guys? Oh, this is so fucked. Aloha. Oh my god. Don't know what to eat for dinner? Mate, it's like 2 p.m. Fuck you mean dinner? We got a long time, we'll figure it out. Abuela. Naira. Also reading, I had to get the next batch ready. Thank you, Chris. Love you, buddy. So after today, we will have like, what, 100 and... What is it? 100 and... Basically 100 chapters left. Can you try to figure out like kind of rough ways where I can do the volume enders or book ender actually, fuck me, Jesus, in next weekend. So like however that works, whether we need to do like 4 or 5 batches, then I skip a couple of days during the week or however, we'll figure that out. But just if we can do like 4 or 5 batches, maybe less, because you know the last, let's say 30 chapters need to be read together or something, which is gonna be cancer AIDS, but yeah, fuck it at this point. I'm good, Unhinged. How you doing, buddy? Abuela madre. Hijo. Madre. Abuela. Or volume 7 and 8. No. Like, the book ends in give or take 100 chapters. I mean, the ending of volume 8. Volume 7 at this point, like, is gonna be when it ends. It is. Like, because it's probably gonna be like Tuesday or some bullshit, but like, alright, that is what it is at that point. Tears well up. Getting misty-eyed. Getting all choked up. We can go to a steakhouse. We can go to a clubhouse. We can go to a, I don't know, poker house, a mall house. I don't know what's a mall house. Okay. Completely wrong logic. Correct answer. Okay. Rand, Naira, Leon Primo, the currencies? These are currencies. Naira is a currency, Rand is a currency. Egyptian Rand, I believe? No, Egyptian something Naira. Leone is the one I'm not sure about. Kwanzaa? I am clutch as a motherfucker. Let's go. Abuela, grandmother. Hijo. What is hijo? Son. It's primo. Madre is obviously mother. Primo is cousin. I see. Clutched up. Clutch. Shit. I love how your mental state changes so quickly. 51 is now bad in my mind. I need to get a perfect 50-50 for it to be good. Everything else is like, ah. Do 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 do. Sit back, relax to the sound that goes around, 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 around. She said, hey, 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 feeling the fire with the burning desire. Every day we inspire, but never expires. But we will chill today. Let me rock the world tomorrow. Yeah. You need harder puzzles? What? It's a disgusting puzzle. Wow. No, idiot. What are you doing? Evening! Whoa, long time no see. How's it going? Did you change your profile picture? I didn't used to be it. I'm almost certain. What's the move here? Oh, I'm from laptop, so it's a different account? Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, wait, evening. You're in China, right? Oh, you're back home now. Oh, how was the trip? Did you get any LOTM merch? I hate as a human on a personal level that's my second question about after you went to a completely foreign country, but that's who I am, okay? So don't judge me. Also peak stream time for me. I try to stream about this time on the weekends. Normally I end up doing it about an hour earlier than this, but this is when I try to do weekend stream because I know for a lot more people, for a lot more time zones, this is so much better, but because I have work and I'm boring, I can't do this during the work week. I say boring, but that just basically means like I need monies to survive. Fuck! Sorry, that was bad timing. I love how you get the remote music even though you don't use it anymore. Hey, someone made something so cool for me. I want to even if it's not what I tend to use anymore, I still cherish the fact that someone took time out of their fucking life to make that for me. Like this, that's so valuable to me. Like there's no benefit you got from that. You just made it just because you could, and I love you for it. Like, I don't know, like in my mind, the most valuable thing people do for you is like the most innocuous, inane, like bullshit that like doesn't really, like, again, this, I don't know, maybe, I feel like this is relatively normal, but maybe it's not. But like, I feel like if someone buys me like a cup of coffee, and or more better yet, if they like remembered my coffee order and they went like, hey, I was grabbing some coffee, so like we were meeting, so I just grabbed your coffee as well. Like that's so valuable to me. Why? Because this person there's no benefit to be gained out of that for them, and more importantly for me, I didn't ask you for it. I feel like the fact that you did something, like you thought of me purposely without having like an inherent reason to do so, and like went out of your way to be like, in this case you were like, oh, like I know he has to like switch the music every time and it breaks immersion for him and it's kind of probably worse for me too, or whatever. It was like, you had no reason to do that, but you did it anyway, and that's so fucking awesome. But I misclicked. That's sorry, that was sorry you had to see that. Jesus Christ, that was bad timing. Fuck. Okay. I can do this. I can do this. Who done for? But I was late for one stream. That's all good, man. $8.91. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. That's huge. I was locked in today. I could feel it. I closed my eyes. I don't even want to know when it fucking stops playing. I'm just gonna play. Oh, I was locked in. $8.91's huge. Anyone that says $8.91 is bad, beat the score. Beat my... I don't even want to hear shit. Unhinged before you utter a fucking word. I'll send you the link. Beat me before you utter a word, okay? Don't you fucking dare. No, actually, I can't. Unhinged has been quite nice recently. It's unnerving me. I don't know why. I feel like he has, like, special news that... I feel like he has special news that America's gonna be invading Canada in the next little bit, and he's like, damn, I gotta be nicer to him before I kill his family or something. I don't know, like, I feel like it's unnerving me. I don't like it. Dude, Kami's still not here. Brother, you here? Come on. No one respects Canada enough to invade it. Bitch, we have the... Oh, you're here. Oh, Kami, how's it going? Talking to some idiot for a trade. Oh, okay. What was I talking? Hey, okay, first of all, we have the largest freshwater reserves on the planet. We have the most amount of timber on the planet. We have high quality timber. We have abundant natural resources. We have a shit ton of oil. Any natural resources that exist on the fucking planet, we basically have, okay? Don't you fucking sass me. Okay, first of all, half the country does not speak French, okay? There's one small sect of them that has their own little fucking province, and we let them. And we let them because we're tolerant. But one day, they're gonna say some bullshit like, all children must be mandated to learn French all through school. And that is the day we put an end to it. We're gonna Cordu village their ass, okay? Or they're gonna Cordu village our ass, I don't know. They'd probably be the ones who believe in an evil god first, though. They are French. But they're French, so they're godless. No, so we'd Cordu their ass first. No, okay, I got it. Okay, I walked myself through it, we're fine. Okay. America's 51st state has that? Yeah. India's I don't know, whatever. Gang, India's small left testicle has, I wish I could say you had some natural resources, but I don't know if Pakistan has anything. Watch yourself, Zaza. Two can play at this game, bitch. And I don't think you like the outcome. Did you like Volume 6? I like the ending, Eve. I love the ending. I love the concept. Its execution left a lot to... Which does... Hold on. Does Pakistan have natural resources? Pakistan has an estimated $6 trillion worth of copper, gold, coal, chromite, antimony. I never... Is it antimony? Antimony? How did you pronounce this? And rare earth elements. Oh wow, $6 trillion? That's so... Wow, that's like fucking pocket change. That's great. Dude, for a country, having $6 trillion worth of total resources under your belt is not... That's genuinely garbage. And I love how Zaza didn't fight on the India's left testicle part. He just argued on the natural resources bit. He was like, I don't have anything to say there. Antimony is? I didn't say for me, Hope. I said for countries, okay? Just don't. Although I will say, if you're 8,000 years old and you're still poor, oof. Upon here... Okay, hold on. I gotta join the thing. I'm gonna get corrupted. Zaza, you haven't... Bro, you gotta read COI. It's ass from a butt cheek for a lot of it. But some of it's goated, and it makes it kind of worth it to read the ass from the butt cheek. But the bit that's good... Chef's kiss, very good. It has really high highs and really low lows. Very low mediums. Upon hearing Ma'am Hermit's words, LEMMiNO lit up, and he smiled, quite bright. What can I do to help? Trier Cathedral District. Oh, Zaza, so right now we're starting an operation to kill the hidden sage, okay? Trier Cathedral District at the entrance of the Church of Steam and Machinery Patriarchal Cathedral. With its towering iron-black chimneys, LEMMiNO, wearing a lady's soft hat and face covered by a black veil, looked up for 2 seconds before walking through the open door into the interior. Volume 2 really offsets a lot of good parts of... yeah. The first thing that caught his eye were thick, grayish-white pipes crisscrossing everywhere, some attached to walls, some supported by pillars, some winding across the dome. There were other components of giant steam engines, or rather, this cathedral was made up of a giant steam engine and several other mechanical devices. Currently, no heat radiated from these pipes, but come winter, when this giant steam engine would run constantly, the entire patriarchal cathedral would be wrapped in warmth, and allowing worshippers to experience the pleasantness of summer. LEMMiNO then saw believers walking out, seemingly having just finished listening to the sermon, immersed in the atmosphere. LEMMiNO passed by them, walking towards the altar area. Many believers, both men and women, suddenly found their gaze following this tall, beautiful figure. Turning, LEMMiNO walked forward naturally, neither fast nor slow. Arriving at the first row of seats, he gazed at the triangular sacred emblem, representing the god of steam and machinery, his eyes moving between the symbols, gears, and levers. At this moment, he wasn't thinking about how sacred or beautiful it was, but rather pondering a question. If this god of steam and machinery truly evolved to the god of electric power and information technology, what would his sacred emblem look like? You guys want to hear the answer? I can show you. This is it. 1-to-1, and if you argue about this, you're wrong. This is it. Very simple, very minimalistic. LEMMiNO controlled his blasphemous thoughts, and under the watchful eyes of preaching bishops sat at the first row of near center aisles, raised his hands, lowered his head, and began to pray. When his spiritual intuition told him that the bishop had looked away, he reached into his traveler bag and took out a phone, the one he had used in the Dream City. Of course, it wasn't real, woven from the memories by Madame Dreamweaver. But it had no functions and couldn't last. The screen lit up, displaying a WeChat dialogue between LEMMiNO and Stiano. The contents of the conversation showed Stiano sending LEMMiNO the information shredder. LEMMiNO held this false, dreamlike phone and said, "Great God of Steam and Machinery. You are the embodiment of essence, the protector of artisans, the glory of technology. Please grant me once again the ability to shred information, effective for 1 week." After praying, LEMMiNO drew the sacred emblem across his chest, and at the same time he felt a sudden change. He lowered his head and looked at the dream phone in his hand again, finding it more tangible. LEMMiNO instantly swiped the phone, watching the dialog box retreat to the WeChat main interface. Then he switched back to the home screen and found all the previous downloaded apps. Bro, I'm 100 chapters away. Come on, give me a break. I made such good timing on this book. What the fuck? God, everyone just pops by to call me a bum and leaves. What is this? What is my reputation here, bro? What the fuck? Was a real phone created based on the corresponding information? Is this the glory of technology, a true sequence zero god? Although LEMMiNO was already sequence 3, he was still amazed. He studied for a while, confirming the phone really worked, just without any network connectivity. Of course, the information shredder didn't require it. In an apartment on Avenue de Boulevard. You think angels use their honorifics like a phone? Do I think angels use their honorifics like a phone? I suppose. Although it would be more like a payphone than a cell phone. Because everyone else has a fixed point number that they call, which is like the payphone. and you don't know who you're getting the call from. You just open the prayer and you just be like, oh, this guy's asking me to stop the war in his country. Bro, who do you think I am? I can't do that. Are you nuts? In an apartment on Avenue de Boulevard, Professor, Associate Professor, Periodic Table, Isotope, and 2 other warlocks currently in Trier sat on the sofa, back chair and armchair, looking at each other. After receiving Hidden Blade's request for an urgent meeting, they contacted each other and after much consideration decided to accept. Of course, they chose the place and time. What urgent matter could she have? Isotope whispered. If it weren't for Hidden Blade's constant good reputation and character, they would definitely have refused such a hasty request. Whatever her purpose, I believe she has good intentions, the professor said. Besides, don't we also have something to discuss with her? And everyone nodded, and at this moment they heard a knock using Morse code. Come in, everyone said. Not only did the Hidden Blade enter, but also Madame Hella. Madame Hella, you're here. Periodic Table stood up. Listen to that. Just listen to that. You've never addressed me as Madam, Franca thought. Hella nodded. I'm here to vouch for the Hidden Blade and handle the aftermath. Everyone turned their gaze to Franca. This time they were all captivated by the demoness of an aging and her beauty. Franca walked to the fireplace where no charcoal was burning and smiled. Please, sit down. I'm here to ask for your help. Today I've even shown you my face to help you trust me more. Professor, who had just sat back down, asked, Hidden Blade, you are a demigod. What could we possibly help you with? For's honorific name? Bitch, where are you? Help me. For's honorific name. Great student of door of all doors, grant me thy wisdom. I need a reason to call sick to work today. Please use your great wisdom and creativity to grant me an appropriate excuse. Blessed be thy name. I shall drop off a bottle of wine at thy altar. Franca glanced at Hella, waiting for her to nod, waiting for the night to seem deeper, then said with a smile, Would you like to solve the problem of the hidden sage force-feeding you knowledge? Completely solve it? The professor couldn't help but blurt out. This was something thought impossible. Aw, Chris, let's go! Depends. What's the next little bit, Chris? How to solve it? We really help? Periodic Table asked. Although she didn't hold much hope, even if it was just a straw floating on water, she wanted to grasp it, and everyone shared the same mindset. Franca didn't answer immediately, watching as they raised one question after another. Hidden Blade. We were preparing to consult you about this matter, the professor finally said. Previously, Muggle told us that the small ritual plaza at the entrance of the 3rd level of the catacombs had powers that could block external influences that helped us and even saved many of our lives. Otherwise, the hidden sages increasingly frequent crazy infusions. Some barely hung on, but others would probably be gone already. 87? So like 9 chapters? We could do 9. We could do a solid 9. Okay. That's like an hour and a half stream. That's no problem. Indeed, while others are reluctant to leave Trier for emotional reasons, the professor and others have a practical need, a life or death need. I was planning to have Lumion ask Ma'am Hermit if she, as a senior of the Warlock pathway, had any good methods to plug her ears, but now Franca got rather emotional, and she then smiled. The solution is to kill the Hidden Sage. What? Hidden Blade? Although you become a demigod, the gap between you and the Hidden Sage is bigger than the gap between us and you. It's a fundamental difference. Not even the entirety of the Research Society could handle the Hidden Sage. I am not the main force, Franca smiled. This matter has some big shots taking the lead. I'm merely providing support. Big shots? How big? Franca pointed to the sky itself. That big. Bigger even still than the Hidden Sage. Everyone looked around and realized The demigods could already be called saints, and were definitely high-ranking even amongst churches. Their gazes moved back and forth between Franca and Hela, understanding they may be involved in an event worthy of being recorded in the annals of history. A divine war. Is this what you sought us out for? We are not demigods, Professor said. You needn't fight. Like me, you'll be doing support work. Hidden Blade Franca thought for a while before saying, the matter does carry risks, though not from combat. Other demigods and I will handle the interception of enemies and monsters. Your danger comes from something else, but it won't be much more dangerous than receiving knowledge infusions of the Hidden Sage, but I cannot give you the specifics. Everyone looked around, scared, nervous. After a few seconds, the associate professor asked, are you confident? We would not be planning this if we weren't. Do not worry, even if we fail. He will not discover your betrayal. Trust me, by failure, I mean not successfully killing the Hidden Sage and letting him escape. Not that he could ever win. The aura is crazy, bro. The aura is actually fucking crazy. Why ask for our help? The professor asked. Warlocks, transmigrators, and the Grey Fog's aura. Do not ask me what the Grey Fog is right now. Muggle met these conditions. Why not ask her? She is doing a much more important task than I, Franca said. After the professor communicated with her husband, Periodic Table and the others for a while, she nodded and said, we are willing to join you. Making this decision and speaking these words made her relax, no longer quite as tense. At this current crossroads, whether good or bad, whichever path they chose, they had to move forward, and they couldn't retreat anymore. If they didn't seize the opportunity to eliminate the Hidden Sage, they would either be forced to stay in Trier to face their possible apocalypse, or lose control and go mad in another city, becoming monsters. Would you like a notarized document to ensure I fulfill my promises? Franca said. Do not worry, the document was created by another saint and is watched over by a true god. It has strong binding power, even over me. No need. We trust you and Madame Hela. How long will this operation last? We have children at home. Though we have servants, we are not entirely at ease. For those of you who are married with couples, only one person needs to go. Those who are single parents or have other relatives that need care, you can opt out. However, those who stay behind need to bring their children or other dependents to live together in one place, under Hela's protection and watch. I love how Mr. Fool is barely awoken. He's like, not even a true god level, and he's like, I could. The Hidden Sage, I could take him. Listen. Other true gods might be rough, but that bitch I can do right now. Him, Chain God, I can do right now. Him and Chain God, I can do. We can take care of. Everyone else, him, I got him. Don't even sweat it. Just get him in the same room as me. I'll take care of it. Do you know why he went after the Hidden Sage now? I mean, he's just a living uniqueness. Don't say he's fodder. Don't say he's fodder. And if Volume 6 Klein said the current fool is his strongest emotions only, his hatred and wish for revenge took over. That's actually such a goated reason though. That's actually goated with the sauce. He said, you killed my teacher. You die today. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Professor relaxed and said to the associate professor, I'll go, associate professor rejected. The two argued until the professor made the final decision. My sequence is higher than yours and my condition better. I will go. Fine, associate professor regretted for the first time, spending so much time on unrelated research. After some time, those participating in the operation would be Professor Periodic Table and another male warlock named Prototype. Let's go. Franca tossed out a mirror. Under the influence of the phantasms, the mirror grew larger and larger, fixing itself as a crystalline entrance. Franca led the warlocks of different sequences through the solid mirror surface into the dark void of the mirror realm. They plummeted through the illusory dark tunnel with lights and shadows shifting, and as if other mirrors were projecting. Thus, after an unknown period, perhaps very short or very long, the professor and the others finally saw an exit. Led by Franca, they whooshed out of the mirror, stepping onto a wooden floor that creaked beneath them. They looked around and found they were aboard an ancient three-masted sailing ship, the grey-white main sails billowing under the fierce wind, and only 1 or 2 sailors on deck. Outside the ship, dark blue waves rose and fell with thin fog permeating the sea. When everyone looked at Franca, she raised her hand and pointed one direction. Our destination! West! You kill... Yeah, genuinely. He's gonna... Hold on. It's genuine. Bleach was fired today. Oh, I gotta watch the episode. Fuck. Have any of you seen The Princess Bride? Avalon existed neither in reality nor in the spirit realm, but was completely hidden. No, hold on. What? I just skipped like 7 fucking lines. An ice blue wave crashed against the future's bow. The hermit, wearing purple patterned robes and thick glasses, stood at the bow, glancing at the changing weather above and the brewing snowstorm, then raised her hand and signaled for the ship to slow. The sailors performed their duties, adjusting the sail, others lowering one of the sails, until the future's condition satisfied the captain. Cattleya removed the glasses from her nose bridge, revealing a pair of deep blue-purple eyes. She began muttering, 1, 5, 4, 3, 7, 8. These numbers materialized one after another, entangling in midair, numbering several hundred. These were the entry password to the Moses Ascetic Order headquarters. Do you mean the Magus Bride? What the fuck is the Magus Bride? No. Is that a fucking manga? No, I'm talking about the Princess Bride. You know, Inigo Montoya. A fire-ass series? Ah, okay. The Moses Ascetic Order headquarters was created by one of the 10 pillars, the respected chairman, Toriope, using mystical reenactment and named Avalon. I think, oh, you meant Magus Bride? Oh, all good. Avalon existed neither in reality nor in the spirit world, but completely hidden somewhere in the northern sea. Only those invited or qualified could enter, and they must grasp a corresponding string of numbers, numbering 365 digits. It's gonna be 365 digits of... Oh, no, never mind. I was gonna say it was gonna be 365 digits of pi, because this guy's a fucking nerd, but it starts off with 1 5, so wrong. For the Moses Ascetic Order, everything was numbers. Each number had spirituality, symbolism, and special meaning. When combined, the numbers possessed power. As Cattleya spoke the correct numbers, which materialized and entangled in midair, the numbers vanished, as if sinking. Within seconds, it was as if an invisible curtain had been drawn in front of the future, and the sailboat sailed out unhurriedly. Unmanned, starlight lit up, extending from the future's bow to fall upon that small boat. Cattleya stepped across the brilliant bridge formed by starlight and boarded the small boat. As one of the 10 pillars of the Moses Ascetic Order, she had naturally had the qualifications to enter. The small boat team carrying Cattleya turned around and headed in the direction from whence it came. Why don't you read manga too, not just novels? Hope, problem with manga is they are almost instantly copyrighted. Like copyright struck. Like I can't read them on stream, because if I'm reading them on stream, I need to share them with you, because most of it's fucking art, right? Most of it's not words. And if I do that, the fucking channel gets taken down. I know this to be the case. I know this for a fact. There are filters, man. Yeah, but isn't that like disgusting to look at? I just always thought that was yucky as fuck. The small boat carrying well, some streams do they do, yeah. Like especially on Twitch, you could do it. On Twitch, it'd be a lot easier because the copyright's a lot easier. The Queen of Stars silhouette gradually faded until it disappeared from the view of the Future's crew. Tower of God read along? Don't even joke about that, bro. After passing through layers of curtains, Cat Leia saw an island. The island shrouded in mist, lined with trees bearing golden apples, music faintly drifting in the distance. The boat stopped at the dock and the hermit walked out amongst the depths of the apple grove, where stood a warlock's spire. Along the way she encountered dozens of humans. These people were stopped in succession greeting the 10 pillars. They were all members of the Order, raised in Avalon in childhood, receiving corresponding teachings most trusted. Currently, they were all in a period of silence to increase focus, enhance spirituality, and master their morals. I'd pay $1.99 a month for you to read Bug Ego. What in the fuck is Bug Ego? Manga series written by One and illustrated by Kyoto Shitara. What? The series follows two Japanese high schoolers, the socially inept and physically diminutive Takehiro Tokuda and the charismatic, empathetic Makoto Hitsujiya. Takehiro eventually shares a mysterious notebook with Makoto, which details various bugs in reality, bizarre actions or events which result in otherwise unexplained phenomena. The two resolve to work together to experience and document the effects of the bugs, often dealing with the fallout suffered by failing to heed the warnings detailed in the books. The two are later joined by Hashira Yuki, a competent yet overworked classmate who seeks to regain the lost joy of her youth. It's great. I know it's by One. Yes, I read that. The manga ends with them putting a monocle. Well, am I crazy? Or did it not just say, like, they go out and find bugs? Have I told you I don't like bugs very much? They're yucky. Only warlocks who grew up this way could eventually compete for the positions of chairman or vice chairman. Outsiders like Cat Leia, who joined later, could at most become one of the pillars. The hermit likewise responded to these silent warlocks with a nod and soon passed through the trees. Inside the spire, the wall protrusions, floor tiles, and statues on both sides, and the elevators pulled up by invisible servants were all composed of numbers. They looked normal at first, but upon closer inspection, one would find that even a small bump was formed by multiple entwined numbers. Hundreds of millions, billions of numbers, densely distributed through the spire, settling into different objects, walking amongst them. The hermit felt surrounded by countless numbers. There was nothing except numbers. The first chapter is all it takes to get addicted to it, I swear. Okay, if I'm not feeling too shitty, maybe tomorrow after stream, because it's 9 chapters tomorrow, so that's like light work, we can read the first chapter on stream. Will that be okay? If you're here, of course. If you're not, then it was a shit idea and I'm never considering it again. Fair offer. Fair offer. These latter ones were members approaching loss of control. After the hidden sage's knowledge infusions became increasingly crazy and frequent, even the most ascetic order, which had mastered safe listening methods, inevitably had warlocks moving towards loss of control. What time? Same time as today, maybe an hour earlier, something like that. What was safe was no longer safe. If not for this problem, the Moses ascetic order's accumulation plus the spiritual decline as the apocalypse approached, they certainly had more than 10 demigods, but unfortunately, They still only had 10 pillars. The hermit's gaze withdrew from these warlocks as she entered the elevator. Pulled by an invisible servant, she went all the way up to the spire's top floor. Here, the chairman and one of the 2 vice-chairmen were always on duty. Amongst them, Chairman Toriope and Vice-Chairman Retia Austin were pillars that the hermit couldn't really get a read on. Before arriving today, the hermit had already confirmed Chairman Toriope, an angel of the Mystery Prior Path, was on a duty in Avalon. As soon as the elevator steadied, Cattleya walked forward. It was a hall larger than the spire top floor itself, and the black walls, floor, ceilings were all eyes. Strangely shaped, cold eyes. They all seemed to be watching Cattleya. At the end of the room, against the windowless wall, stood 3 golden statues, one wearing a mask, one resembling a lion, and one an eagle. Toriope seemed not to be present. Just then, the masked dark golden statue's mouth moved, issuing a grand, hollow voice. "I have foreseen your betrayal." Hearing these words, Cattleya wasn't surprised, only somewhat sighing. It truly wasn't impossible to hide from a high-sequence clairvoyant. XS, how's it going, man? There was only one action. They would prophesize certain scenes on fragments. One could only try to delay when such perceptions appeared, or make the corresponding prophecies difficult to interpret. A card appeared in Cattleya's hand. On its face, a lonely, decrepit old man with a cane. The Hermit card! As soon as the hermit card appeared in Cattleya's hand, it emitted a glossy light. At the same time, outside the Warlock Tower and the misty shrouding Avalon sky, a star began to shine bright in broad daylight, growing brighter and brighter until it was dazzling to the sky. In an instant, a figure emerged. It was Madame Magician, wearing a deep black warlock's robe. Using the mystical connection provided by the hermit, she located and tore open a gate to Avalon. She said, "Wow, that's a lot of numbers. Too bad I'm not reading them. My door." After Cattleya gained free access to Avalon, the magician could actually have broken into the Grade 0 artifact using the Grade 0 artifact of the Abraham family. After all, this place was merely created by Toriope using a mystical reenactment, not granted by the Hidden Sage. How could it stop a high-sequence door pathway beyond her that could enter or exit without will? Do you understand what the robe Forz is wearing today is? No. Should I? Did we have a robe artifact? I can't remember. Was it one of the Abraham ones? Because I know Klein had an option from a couple of Abraham ones, but he chose the Staff of the Stars. Is this a different one? Probably a sequence. Nah, I doubt she's just wearing a sequence 1 characteristic. That would be nuts. Yeah. I can't. I controlled F robe in my notes. I can't find it. So. It's the sequence 1 door characteristic? What? It is a sequence? She's just wearing a sequence 1 characteristic? She's like, damn. So she's a sequence 2 wearing a sequence 1 characteristic. So she's like a quasi sequence 1 basically then. But the Moses Ascetic Order was an ancient organization with at least 2 angels and multiple Grade 0 and Grade 1 artifacts. At the same time, even with the combined strength of a tarot club, the Church of the Fool, and the New City of Silver and the Moon City, they could at best fight them to a draw. And they had the Hidden Sage's protection while the Fool was not yet awake. But today, an opportunity had presented. Mr. Fool and the other deities were responsible for dealing with the Hidden Sage. And the other deities! Mr. Fool had the tacit approval of these 7 deities, and they said, alright, let's kill the fuck. The most difficult part was how to find and lock onto the target without letting him escape. Meanwhile, the Tarot Club and friendly forces were tasked with attacking the Moses Ascetic Order headquarters to eliminate all Beyonders who had been deeply influenced or corrupted. Like mentor, like apprentice, let's go! Of course, the Tarot Club and the Church of the Fool hadn't deployed all their Beyonders. They needed a guard against enemy forces and evil cults, taking advantage of Mr. Fool's personal hunt to launch a surprise attack on places like the City of Silver. For angels like Sua of the Rose School of Thought, winning wasn't important. What mattered was the damage they could cause. Miss Messenger and Mr. Palaz remain in the Rorstad Archipelago. Damn. If there was like, if we had to pick 2 people to be like, listen, I need you two to like hold down the fort, I can't imagine a better answer than Miss Messenger and Mr. Palaz. Obviously, Azek would be a better option, but Mr. Azek is... Will and Mr. Azek won't participate in such thing. Okay, perfect. Only I can take action, but fortunately allies will help. In a flash, thoughts crossed the magician's mind, converging. But I still have manuscripts to submit. Her sigh didn't affect her actions as she stepped into the hermit's side. The fact that she had appeared so far didn't mean she was the only angel arriving. She was just the fastest. In the magician's eyes, starlight gathered, condensing to a book. Immediately after, a giant sword composed of orange-red twilight materialized out of thin air, piercing the void to strike the masked gold statue. The sword then shattered, transforming into countless orange-red shards of light that tore apart everything it touched, cutting all objects to pieces. The 3 dark gold statues were the first to be affected in the storm of twilight. They quickly broke into tiny fragments, each dim and wristed as if washed by passage of endless time. In the hall, the walls and floors and ceilings covered in strange cold eyes dissolved in the orange-red storm. This void had collapsed, but Madame Hermit had already switched positions, flashing multiple images of herself, surrounding herself and Madame Hermit with layer after layer of protection. Destroying an evil auric, thinking of deadlines? Okay, we're not gonna say... They're not an evil organization. They just happen to be from a pathway which is... doesn't have a god right now. It just has a characteristic. That's not their fault. Just keep reading. Okay, damn. Alright, maybe I'm wrong. They are pretty fucking evil, though. Okay, hold on. These guys are... Okay, the way you guys are saying it's gonna be like, oh, you know those children that were raised in Avalon? Well, every weekend they brought the diddler in to make sure those kids were studying, and if they weren't... They're like, what? What are you guys talking about? As the hull atop the Warlock's Tower collapsed, another scene appeared in Catleia's eyes, a long, deep tunnel leading to an unknown destination. The tunnel wide, seemingly composed of connected rooms. In the current room, letting more than a dozen high-sequence Warlocks were busy with their own tasks. A space that seemed to be a reflection of a Warlock's Tower, another side of Avalon, a secret area the Hermit had no way to enter. It had been forcibly opened by the magician using the hurricane of light created by the Twilight Sword and positioning ability of a Grade 0 artifact. Ma'am Magician didn't delay, dropping a mirror before disappearing from the spot with Ma'am Hermit flashing towards the depths of the tunnel. Before the thrown mirror could hit the ground, Lumion and Jenna, wearing a black Warlock robe with their own hoods down, emerged. 1037. Some were consumed. Wait, the warlocks in this room had just awakened from their previous concentration, all turning their gaze towards them. Some were consuming dead infants. Some were using infants to make potions. Some were extracting infant fat to apply to objects. Kill them all. Kill them all. Can't take the chance. Can't take the chance. Kill them all. Although in folklore, warlocks were often associated with killing infants and children, and some strange, inhuman, cruel preparations, LEMMiNO knew this wasn't mainstream for the warlock pathway. Dude, this is genuinely what the elites are doing, but God forbid you don't declare that you found a $20 bill on the ground on your fucking taxes, you're going to prison. This is genuinely what the elites are doing in their fucking, private villas. But God forbid you forget to declare the fact that you found a fucking $20 bill. Holy shit, tax evasion. You're going to prison for a long time, buddy. How could you? And you're like, what the fuck? Although in folklore, wait. Were there many warlocks who did such things? Were there similar witchcraft practices? Who would have thought that within the Moses ascetic order, which emphasized morals and precepts, emphasizing the maxim, do as you wish but do no harm, there'd be so many warlocks doing such things? Of course, what surprised LEMMiNO the most wasn't the Moses ascetic order's fall from grace that had been conferred long ago, or they would have been transformed from a respected society with good intentions into evil, shadowy organization. What astonished him most was how deeply ingrained the practice of utilizing infant corpses had become. This couldn't happen in just a year or two. The infants made him think of birth, of mothers. Was the hidden Sage's mutation related to the Great Mother? Had this practice started when she brought evil and corruption to the Moses ascetic order? LEMMiNO tilted his head to Jenna and said, "This place is yours." He then flashed towards the depths of the tunnel. His mission wasn't here. Don't say there's nothing to do late. Okay. Don't say there's nothing to do late. You're not XQC, bro. The reason Jenna participated in this operation was because LEMMiNO believed the role of a demoness of despair could be fulfilled through combat, through killing, through destruction. Jenna wouldn't participate in the battles deep within Avalon, mainly focusing on clearing out the corrupt low and mid-sequence warlocks, bringing in despair. In this process, if she encountered a saint, or even 2 or 3 saints, with the demoness of despair's survival, she may not win, but death was unlikely. Damn, that's goated. Jenna, who just became a sequence 4 like 4 seconds ago, is like, damn, if I fought like 4 demigods, I might lose, but like they're not gonna kill me. I could make it out. Bro, where's this aura coming from? What? The warlocks in the rooms had already realized enemies had invaded, some preparing to cast spells, some taking advantage of their materials, some trying to bring out mystical items. None retreated. What materials? Their eyes burned with madness and greed as they looked at Jenna, and the angry Jenna smiled as if light had entered this dark world. All the warlocks of different sequences were stunned, unable to carry out their intended actions. And suddenly they all felt cold. A layer of frost formed on the surface of their body, their hair, and the tables themselves. They began to shiver, their joints stiffening, their movements becoming labored and difficult. Bro, can you imagine how goated Klein would be here? Klein could just be like, hey, Force, what you're gonna do is you're just gonna break me into this, okay? If Klein was awake right now as a sequence 0 the Fool, or even a sequence 1, maybe even a sequence 2, he would just be, probably at least a sequence 1 for sure, but a sequence 2 probably. He would just be like, listen, what I need you to break me into the Avalon and just put me in like a dark, just put me in a corner where no one's gonna bother me. First going, Mr. Fool, okay, why? And Klein's just gonna immediately fucking marionetize like 20% of their fucking forces. Just whoop, and fucking half of you are dead. Half of you are dead. No. And then by the time the angels go to fucking attack him, he goes, alright, time to pull out some angels from the voids. Wow, you seem pretty strong, buddy. Well, but how are you gonna fight 2 angels? Good luck. I'm gonna go kill the rest of your forces while you stay busy with these guys. Klein could literally just be walking through Lottie fucking Duda through there. And except for angels, anyone else, by the time they even rush to attack him, would just be marionetized. It would just be like, bro, run. Abandon your fucking headquarters or die here. That's your option. If you see me, book it in the opposite direction, you might live. But if you try to rush to me, you're fucking dead before you even reach. Dude, oh my god. You know what my own description of this is giving me fucking Minato from the third fucking third great ninja war. They're just like, listen, even if there's 1,000 of you, if you see Minato, run. There is an escape order on him, okay? There is no death order on. There's an escape order. Just run. Then, one crystalline ice spear after another shot out from their bodies in front of Jenna, piercing each of the warlocks' body, pinning them to the floor or the ground. The warlocks tried to resist, but not only were their bodies frozen, but they were bound and affected by invisible silk. Jenna didn't kill them immediately, letting the mystical plague spread with her charm, freely eroding these fallen ones, making their lungs tighten, their heads burn, and their life slip away, and they began to despair. The magician perused in a wandering manner, leaving the hermit behind. Finally, ignoring the other enemies along the way, she reached a desolate, boundless plain. Teriope, wearing a black hood and warlock's robe, seemed to be in the depths of the wilderness. He gazed into the distance at magician and raised his palm. An illusory figure was sketched in the endless wilderness. A mystical reenactment. As an angel who advanced in the middle to late 4th epoch, although Teriope wasn't a founding member who established the order, he had lived for over 1,000 years and witnessed many things, mastered many spells, and knew of much mystical knowledge. With the core ability of mystical reenactment, Beyonders of the Mystery Prior Path could indeed potentially live longer and grow stronger. However, because too many people knew of major events like the War of the Four Emperors and the Pale Disaster, he couldn't draw much power from them. As soon as the illusory figure in the wilderness solidified, bloody chunks of flesh began falling from its body. Each piece of its bloody flesh turned cold and emotionless as it looked to Madam Magician. This was a spell Teriope had created from the strange death of one of the Mosaic Order's founders, loss of control gaze. So what you're basically telling me is this man used one of his traumas to make a strong spell. He's like, you know, when I was just a foundling, my mentor, he died, and it was just me who saw. The manner in which he died was horrific, and now you'll get to see it too. Loss of control gaze was a spell that could cause even angels to show signs of losing control, with better effects the more unstable the person was. However, just as Teriope cast the spell, the magician vanished. She didn't appear anywhere else, seemingly having left the area altogether. Teriope's gaze focused as he watched the horrifying scene created by the loss of control gaze dissipate. And he didn't take this chance to escape. It wasn't that he didn't want to, but it was simply too late. Only when Cattleya entered the Warlock Tower did he receive the revelation and make the corresponding prophecy. He had no time to escape. He could only come to the depths of the wilderness and wait for an opportunity. Wait. See, what you're trying to tell me is, this angel sees a demigod walk into his house, gets a prophecy that she's hasn't even done it yet, but is about to attack him, and his immediate response is, hey, she's at least 1, maybe 2 sequences underneath me. I need to run away and wait. What? Bro, you have home turf advantage and strength and fucking your power in your sequence, and you're still going, I need to wait? You're a coward. Kami, this is some SUA levels of fraud. Okay, genuinely, this is actually some SUA levels of fraud. Don't tell me he got prophecy of date. You got the prophecy of danger. How about instead of saying, I j'accuse, you just teleport behind her and kill her? You're a fucking angel, bro. He's like, no, j'accuse, and then runs away. And you're saying, oh, well, he got a prophecy of danger. No, fuck you. You're an angel, bro. Maybe Zaratul level. Well, in my mind, Zaratul and Suar are like literally equivalent in terms of bumminess. This approach wasn't interpreted from his own prophecy, but came from his understanding of this wilderness on the dark side of the Warlock's Tower and his knowledge of the Moses Ascetic Order. In just a second or two, the loss of control gaze spell ended, and at the same time, Torioppi saw the young lady wearing the black robe. She had returned. Force said, oh, he cancelled. I'm back. On the Blue Avengers, listen, Hawksu. Hawksu is amazing. Oh, that's brilliant. That's really good. On the Blue Avengers, struggling to navigate through the fog and sea, Professor, Periodic Table, and Prototype were all at the sea for the first time as they walked up to the ship's railing to gaze into the distance. Westward. Is this the depths of the fog sea? The professor asked. Yes. The person who answered wasn't Franka, but a middle-aged man who had walked out from the cabin. It was Madam... Oh, what? It was Mr. Hanged Man. This is the captain, Franka introduced, not as the Hanged Man, but simply as the captain. After a courtesy bow, Professor and the other, with some courtesy, asked, I've heard the western fog is extremely dangerous, often with fierce winds and huge waves. Even official explorations don't go deep into it and can only advance one section of a waterway at a time. Actually, the weather isn't as changeable and intense as the Berserk Sea, the captain said. What is dangerous is the fog. Fog? What's dangerous about the fog? Do you know why this ocean is called the Fog Sea? Why fog often rises in the archipelago waters too? Completely different from the other weather? Recalling the meteorologist's explanation, the periodic table touched the chemical symbols on her face and said, It spreads here? Aw, thanks, Seer. It spreads from here? The fog in this area sometimes contracts and sometimes expands. When it expands, the fog spreads eastward, affecting the weather. The closer you get to it, the more foggy the weather and the slower the fog disperses. By the time you reach the archipelago waters, the fog here need to expand very dramatically to affect that area. So it's due to mystical reasons. Similarly, the deeper you go into this area, the further west you sail. The thicker the fog becomes and the harder it is to disperse. Eventually, you can see nothing but grey-white fog, making it impossible to determine your coordinates in the next way. Who knows how many explorers and adventurers have vanished here. Perhaps their ships will only return from history much later in the form of unmanned ghost ships. What about us? Professor asked. We're heading into those waters. Unlike Prototype, who only had himself to worry about, she and Periodic Table had stronger attachments, naturally making them more anxious. Don't worry, I've entered and left these waters many a time, and have understandings of the waterways. We will not lose our ways. This experience was brought with lives. I have lost my way here, encountered dangers, and nearly disappeared many times. Fortunately, with divine protection, I prayed in time and received accurate positioning, helping me find my way back. Seeing how the captain sounded, exploring these waters without arrogance, boasting, or fear, everyone settled. This was indeed a safe waterway explored through countless hardships, worthy of trust. Periodic Table looked at the sailors who were clearly not enough to operate such a mass ship and asked, Is this a ghost ship? Yes. Just then, the entire ship was thrown up by a wave, flying to the air with a splash. Giant sea fish, 20 or 30 meters long, emerged, its body covered in silver-white metal scales that flickered with dawn's light, and the blowhorn on its head spurted with a water stream that seemed composed of the early morning twilight. This water stream was like a giant sword wielded by a deity, slashing fiercely towards the Blue Avenger. This scene was visually stunning, leaving Professor, Periodic Table, and Prototype, who were used to fighting in cities, small environments, unsure of how to respond. Silently, a grey-white color spread from the ship's railing. The dawn's light on the giant sword dimmed, taking on a grey color. It failed to create a hurricane of light, quickly turning into a stone sword that broke into sections, falling towards the sea. At the same time, the hangman flew into the air, his deep blue hair spreading like tentacles. He clenched his fist and threw out bolts of lightning. These silver lightning bolts pierced through the sky and the sea, striking the sea fish. Only then did thunder echo. And just as Professor and the others watched dumbfounded as the captain brought down divine punishment like a deity, the area where the Blue Avenger was began to bubble. Countless rotting creatures emerged, with the rising and bursting bubbles cramming densely. A horrifying, strange summoning from the realm of Death Destination came from beneath the surface, pulling the Avenger off course. The grey-white color fell off the ship, turning all the rotting undead creatures into stone sculptures. The grey-white continued to penetrate beneath the surface, and everything fell silent. A Sequence 5 sea monster? A gatekeeper? Franca muttered questioningly as she prepared to collect her spoils. Isn't this display of abilities a bit exaggerated? The first creature to attack the Blue Avenger should have been a whale that had consumed a Sequence 5 guardian beyond her characteristic. Different species and environments can lead to different mutations, the hangman said. Besides, you forget that Sequence 5 at sea qualifies it for the title of Admiral. Listening to their exchange, everyone realized the captain was another hidden demigod that the Hidden Blade was referring to. The power of a demigod was truly mind-boggling. As Franca used spider silk to drag up the keeper sea monster beneath the surface, it was a flat, human-sized, spiky black mutated sea urchin, as she asked, "The deeper we sail, the more monsters like this we'll encounter?" No. The most dangerous things are the environment itself and our companions. Of course, as long as we stay on the predetermined fairway, there isn't too much risk. These monsters have only appeared in recent years, possibly related to the war back then. After the god of combat's defeat, many characteristics fell from the astral world into the oceans, and the Divine Kingdom also experienced some collapse, with many items falling to reality. I see. The Pride armor came from that. I finally realized. That sea monster just now should be a Sequence 5 gatekeeper of the death pathway adjacent to the warrior pathway, so it is normal for the god of combat Divine Kingdom to have some related items. As Franca came to this realization, she waited for the pale black mixed characteristics to precipitate. She and Lumion would need to gain more believers in the future, which required priests to spread their teachings, so they needed to prepare some characteristics for subordinates. I love how we're just seeing all of them just slowly come to the realization that everything Klein did, they're just like, oh yeah, this, like, we need to do this too. Like, they don't know that Klein obviously did this as well, but it's just funny. But wait, since he threw out lightning, does that make him like a sea god? Because I think lightning was a sea god power, no? Marching in the footsteps of, yeah, like following in their footsteps, literally. Sea God was control over the sea around them. Lightning is like Sequence 6 brochature chip. What? Are you sure? After collecting the spoils, the Blue Avenger continued forward. As they sailed deeper, the grey fog around them grew increasingly dense, making it impossible to see ahead. The hangman didn't explain, only telling them they seem close but are actually very far, unreachable. After another half a day, when the grey fog reached a certain density, the hangman said to Franca, "We are almost at our destination. Notify Ma'am Hermit that she can enter the Moses Ascetic headquarters now." In the dark tunnel of the Warlock Tower, Ma'am Hermit continued to advance deeper, her responsibilities to hold the Moses Ascetic's upper echelons for as long as possible until Allied forces arrived. Suddenly she stopped. She saw a familiar figure. The Moses Ascetic Order's vice chairman. Another pillar she couldn't get a read on. Rita Austin. It's Ritia Austin, but I'm going to just call her Rita. Rita was quiet, a taciturn person who made the hermit feel that there was something strange behind her. Although she had never explicitly said so, Cattleya believed she was already an angel. In the intelligence that Cattleya had gathered, the current high-level members of the Order guarding Avalon were only Toriope and 2 other pillars who had been doing research, so Rita should have left. Yet here she was, on the dark side of Avalon. Except for when there were real members that needed to be handled. Every time she said she was leaving Avalon, she was actually taking a detour and entering the dark side. Is she guarding against doing something or doing something? Rita, being the Moses Ascetic Orders at the headquarters, was a good thing. She wouldn't have to go looking for her later. At this time, Rita, in a loose robe with wine-colored hair, stood on top of a broken stone pillar, looking to the trader and said, "I see you turning into a swan." Wait, Chris, are we going to 1075 today? What's the number? 1077? As she spoke, Rita's body expanded, the loose black robe tearing apart, transforming into a mass of cloth fragment that drifted down. In the blink of an eye, this vice chairman had her neck elongated, covered in magenta scales. Her body now did the same. She was now 5 or 6 meters tall, her tailbone extending and becoming long, filled with joints and barbs. Rita had transformed into a giant dragon, exuding a powerful, evil beauty. Her head still human-like in a magenta color. Her amber vertical pupils looked onto the hermit. The Sequence 2 of Mystery Prior was known as Sage, with the core ability of the mastery and utilization of information, including but not limited to, informationization of one's own self. In such a situation, if one had enough self-understanding without disrupting the overall information balance, one could add appropriate, non-conflicting, already grasped mystical knowledge in the form of information into the corresponding information flow and delete the unnecessary parts, completing the transformation of one's own body and fixation and acceleration of spells. Rita chose to transform herself into a giant dragon at the information level, to gain a huge boost in vitality and strength. For this, she had spent hundreds of years researching the remains of dragons and was known as a dragon scholar. Cattleya thought this title meant Rita's research was very in-depth, making her a true expert. Until Queen Mystic had also become a sage, did they guess that there was another layer of meaning, a scholar like a dragon. Immediately, countless eyes opened the cracks between Rita's scales, the mythical creature of the Mystery Prior path, and at the same time, countless fragments flashed in Cattleya's mind. A warning from Queen Mystic when she chose the Mystery Prior path on the dawn. The constant pursuit of knowledge and the repeated indoctrination of the hidden sage, the painful episodes of almost losing control, the protection provided by Mr. Fool, and the ostracism and the suspicion she had suffered since becoming one of the pillars. All the scenes of evil and corruption she had seen along the way. All of this was about to come to an end, and with a sigh, Cattleya's body arced. A pure white illusory feather sprouted. Fairy tale magic. Ugly duckling. Even an ugly duckling could transform into a swan. A Sequence 3 angel could also... A Sequence 3 could also manifest in incomplete mythical creature form, supporting it for a short time under the impact of an angel. As these feathers grew out, cracks appeared on Cattleya's surface, with blood and flesh congealing in each crack to form stark black and white eyeballs. These eyeballs swept around, meeting the countless eyes. Hermit and Rita both became somewhat ethereal, one seeming to have become an abstract black shadow, the other's body dimming. Although Lumin had teleported considering the many dangers lurking in the dark side of Avalon, he didn't dare to make the direct advance like Madam Magician, but blinked in stages. After 3 or 4 jumps, he arrived at what seemed like a palace rooftop. It was paved with large slabs of water-black stone, surrounded by walls and towers. The night sky above the deep and dark, and the clusters of dazzling stars, blinking on and off as if countless unknown existences were watching. A tall, thin man dressed as a warlock stood at the top of the nearest tower. The surface of the flask was covered in dense bumps, in each with a crack, within each crack countless eyeballs. An unnumbered grade 0 artifact, because it was not from the churches, and sometimes it was an angel, sometimes an artifact, its form unable to be fixed. It originated from a founding member of the Moses Ascetic Order, that angel's bizarre and uncontrolled death leaving behind this artifact, and in the years that followed, 3 of the Order's saints had successfully used this artifact to become angels, but ultimately all went mad or died or became monsters. In the last 1,000 years, no one dared to use this artifact to advance, and thus it had earned the name Destined Madness. This seems like a artifact you would gain in like a Bloodborne or maybe Dark Souls 3. As a long-standing secret organization, the Moses Ascetic Order was at its peak, possessing 6 grade 0 artifacts besides angels. Later, some were lost in eternal strife. Some were offered to the hidden sage, and some became the foundations of angels, and now only 3 remained. The Destined Madness, one of them. Just purify the characteristic? Why didn't they think of that, genuinely? The warlock holding this flask was Sid's, one of the pillars, who had been stationed in Avalon for years, researching. As a Sequence 3 clairvoyant, he chose Destined Madness over the other 2 because for him, the current negative effects were bearable and he could endure it for a time. The countless eyes on the flask brought with them a flood of illusions. Diverse fragments of knowledge, some turning into human shapes, some eyes bursting, clutching their chest or heads exploding. Some resembling writhing masses of snakes, slick and repulsive, some grotesque and indescribable. Knowledge was in pursuit of LEMMiNO. A swath of grey-white surged before LEMMiNO, rolling forward like waves. Wherever the grey-white passed, the stone slabs grew denser and even the air thickened. When the petrifying force met the knowledge entities, these apparitions donned a grey-white veil. In the next second, knowledge of stone rigidity, slowness, and lifelessness seeped into the apparitions. The knowledge pursuing LEMMiNO didn't stop. They simply transformed into heavy, yet swift knowledge statues. I don't even know what that means, bro. On the azure sea thick with the grey fog. What? On the azure sea with thick grey fog. Because the area was so disorienting, Franca couldn't use conventional methods to contact Ma'am Hermit and had to resort to praying to Mr. Fool to inform her. As she finished, Mr. Hangman began advising Professor, Periodic Table, and Prototype. Next, you may experience some hallucinations, see some illusions, but under no circumstance do you believe them, or the harm will extend beyond you to your companions. Even if you see me turn into a monster or a companion attack you, do not evade or retaliate. Trust that it is false. Everyone exchanged glancing, choosing to trust the experienced, powerful captain. Then, the Blue Avenger continued deeper into the sea. After a while, the professor sensed an unnatural silence. Though it was a ghost ship with a few people, it had never been so silent that not a single one was around. Professor looked around towards the captain, the hidden blade, and the other sailors, only seeming to be moving very slowly. The professor was startled and looked at the periodic table and prototype, both members smirking, their smiles matching in every detail. Shuddering, the professor remembered the captain's warning and closed her eyes. It's fake. It's fake. In that moment, it seemed as though tentacles were reaching out from the water, a slick sensation drawing closer and closer while the professor's thoughts turned sluggish. It's fake, she muttered. It was unclear how much time had passed before all the abnormalities vanished. The professor opened her eyes and saw the captain was back to normal, and so were the others. Professor and the others were about to ask questions when they all furrowed their brows. They felt knowledge pursuing them, surging from the grey fog. Of course, it wasn't as extreme as the hidden sage's indoctrination, more like a manageable pressure. Mr. Hangman saw this and said to Franca, "We have reached the target area." Franca nodded, pulling out several pieces of yellow paper etched with intricate patterns from the traveler bag. Okay, we only have 10 chapters to go, guys. Let's go. Dude, I'm so sleepy. I did not sleep. I did not sleep until 4 a.m. I'm so tired. Petrification did nothing to stop the advancing knowledge. Instead, petrification became a part of them and surged towards Lumion like an army of puppets. At that moment, a strange thought came across Lumion's mind. If I were in Marora, could I use the authority of 001 to turn these knowledge statues into my soldiers and then redirect the assault on Sid's? Unfortunately, there was no if. The knowledge statues collided with Lumion, producing a cracking sound. Lumion had activated his mirror substitution in advance and used teleport, outlining his figure mid-air behind Sid's. Using his sphere of the Grade Zero artifact, it was being wielded by a person, not the artifact itself wielding the person. This left vulnerabilities. For example, Sid's body was blocking the dense bumps and stark black eyes, obscuring his view. Lumion's eyes quickly locked onto Sid's back, preparing to cast a curse. Just then, the back of Sid's head, uncovered by a hood, began to writhe, eyes sprouting. The saint seemed to become one with the flask, an extension of its power. Black and white eyes propped across Sid's back and the hair parting and clothes tearing. Lumion froze. Sequence names and fragments of relevant knowledge surged into his mind all at once. Mystery Prior, Melee Scholar, Warlock... Wait, am I missing anything of this pathway? I don't think so, but maybe. Yeah, I have everything of this path. We're fine. Mystery Prior, Melee Scholar, Scrolls Professor, Mysticologist, Sage, Knowledge Emperor, Hermit, Archaeologist, the Hanged Man, the Sun, and more. It wasn't enough to overwhelm his mind and spirit, but it did disrupt his thoughts. He just heard the name of 1, 2, 3 gods and went, nah, I'm fine. The knowledge was vaguely coalesced into a scene with an ancient stone slate. Lumion's consciousness grew foggy. Simultaneously, from within the flask, covered with eyes and bumps, streams of blazing golden sunlight poured. It illuminated the palace, lifting a miniature sun. The sun expanded, purifying all around it. Mystical reenactment. Lumion, riddled with countless issues, was engulfed in searing pain as though skin was forcibly peeled away to expose raw flesh. The aura of Alista Tudor, the Taoist seal, and the pinhole all activated. This brought a moment of clarity. He used mirror substitution again, and as shards of glass fell towards the base of the tower, he teleported to the edge of the palace rooftop. But sunlight was everywhere, leaving no shadows, and Lumion ignited. His body began to melt. A chill struck him from behind as if a ghostly, sticky shadow clung to its back. How could there still be shadows in such sunlight? Where is the absence of darkness? What sort of spell is this, both holy and sinister? He activated the mark on his shoulder without hesitation. He disappeared from his positioning, reappearing in the next area. His mission was not to kill or stall Sid's or seize the artifact. Witnessing the terror of such a thing, he knew there was no point in fighting. The reason he had fought Sid's earlier was due to the reluctance to advance too quickly, fearing he may stumble into an angel battleground, which was likely even more dangerous. It was better to see if he could handle this. As he merged into the next area, he quickly used mirror substitution again, leaving the golden flames in shadow to the mirror image. Glancing back, he saw the golden flames indeed melting the mirror, within which a patch of black writhed and struggled. In the palace rooftop-like area, Sid's entire form seemed a mist. The mass of black and white on its back did not retract. He strained to pursue the demoness of an aging, holding the destined madness. Suddenly, the entrance from the dark Avalon and a thick mist of pale steam flowed in. This figure was young, in a monk's grey robe, wearing an apron like that of an ancient stonemason, chestnut hair, blue eyes, a handsome young face. Under the influence of various spells, broken stone pillars were either completely shattered, collapsed, or sprouted eyes or became part of knowledge. Using the ugly duckling's magic to reveal the incomplete mythical creature form, Cattleya was held in a crushing grip. Her attacks, her magic, and all became ineffective once absorbed by Rita's informationized body. 10 seconds later, the effects of the ugly duckling magic were nearing their end, and Cattleya, unwavering, prepared to cast it a second time. Only by relying on incomplete mythical creature form could she hold her ground against Rita. You know who that was, right? I mean, my instincts want to say Derek, but Derek doesn't have chestnut hair. Chestnut hair. Chestnut hair reminds me of, chestnut hair almost always refers to Bernadette, but that's a guy that they're referring to, not a girl. There's a guy with chestnut hair? Who? Under the influence of various spells, broken stone pillars were either shattered, collapsed, or sprouting eyes or becoming part of knowledge. Using the ugly duckling magic to reveal the incomplete mythical creature form, Cattleya was held in a crushing grip by Rita, now a magenta dragon. Her attacks, her magic, all became ineffective once absorbed by Rita's body. 10 seconds later, the effects of the wait, no, hold on, I've read this. What? Why did it take me up? In the boundless wilderness, translucent ethereal information coalesced into the figure of Teriope. He had evaded Madame Magician's first round of multi-directional attacks using informationization to dodge from various directions. Now reformed, he wore his hood, but his upper body was bare. His torso no longer appeared human, resembling a fusion of 5 or 6 things. There was a menacing wolf's head with black fur, a blazing throne of fire, a pale face with strange eyes, a writhing mass of maggots, and asymmetrical black symbols. What the fuck are you doing? Mystical reenactment that he had added to his body, making them truly a part of him. In this form, the corresponding magic would immediately trigger any target. Who is a guy with chestnut hair? What? In this form, the corresponding magic would immediately trigger and strike any target. As for the loss of control gaze spell, Teriope decided it was too dangerous and hadn't deciphered its secrets. He feared adding it would destabilize the overall information structure. Just as Teriope completed his reformation, preparing to unleash the numerous spells simultaneously, an ancient ethereal chime echoed and he glimpsed a massive weathered bell. For an instant he was dazed and cast 5 or 6 spells. They missed every target and had no impact. Madame Magician had vanished from the wilderness. A pulse of information flickered in Teriope's brow, his emotions unstable. He knew his enemy would be back, striking but never hitting, fleeing but never escaping. Teriope then saw the ground deep within the wilderness cave, a pit opening and leading to a misty, obscure place. His spirits lifted, his mood brightened. The hidden sage had responded. That hazy, foggy area was a hidden escape route, granted by the hidden sage when Teriope had established Avalon. Harsh, how's it going, man? Based on the hidden sage's namesake, he would naturally wield the power of concealment. This was why he was still alive from the Fourth Epoch to now. Joyfully, Teriope dissolved into a flood of information rushing to the pit. Madam Magician reappeared in the skies. On the Blue Avenger, Franca handed out 3 pieces of yellow paper covered with fine patterns, tiny writing, and strange symbols. To the Professor periodic table and prototype. Burn them by rubbing them with your spirituality, Franca instructed. Everyone glanced over it, noting a resemblance to, yet difference from, a Roselle's diary. He faintly discerned 2 characters, Celestial Master. Eh? Eh? Professor and the others hesitated for a second before setting the paper aflame. The blue smoke from the burning papers didn't dissipate but coalesced into a column, rising. In the next second, they seemed to see a wilderness filled with countless figures wandering and screaming. Knowledge, pursuing them, surged, becoming fiercer. They experienced the agony of the hidden sage's relentless indoctrination. A silhouette began to emerge behind them. The figure sat cross-legged, face as smooth as jade, dressed in a blue robe with a high crown. He held something known as a whisk. Fucking what? You fucking what, mate? Am I dumb? In an unknown, mysterious realm, a light composed of complex information concealed itself in the surrounding area. None other than the hidden sage who had foreseen the danger. Suddenly he trembled violently, his form twisting like a massive serpent pierced by an unseen force. He had predicted the danger but didn't foresee that it would come from the wilderness. Enduring the pain, he attempted to sever the connection, hoping to conceal this part of his information. At that moment, a figure clad in a black trench coat followed.
Always come back.
A figure clad in a black trench coat followed the trace of the connection, descending from above and landing in front of him at the edge of the land. The figure used his right hand, gloved in black, to press down his silk top hat atop his head, straightening his posture. The hidden sage felt he must respond, but couldn't decide which plan to choose. Should he quickly repel the enemy or destroy this unknown realm of his creation to create chaos and escape? He had never hesitated like this, unable to make a decision, as if affected by some power. Then he heard the clang of a bell, as if from ancient times, coming from across the ages. A withered, mottled clock's phantom appeared, and a black-gloved left hand held the hands of the clock that had been tinkling between grey-white and blue-black. In the moment of stillness, the fool raised his palm, thrusting forward his firmly gripped cane. The cane, inlaid with countless stardust, caused the void to collapse, surging to the hidden sage. Damn! As the fool's cane thrust forward and the astral world filled with concepts, distorted abstractions, and chaos, a hazy light began to glow, as if to bring scenes of profound, magnificent scrolls to the unknown realm where that battle was taking place. Then, high in the daylight, the crimson moon became prominent. It grew brighter and rounder, its color deepening. The blood moon had descended. The blood moon crimson light shone upon the invisible barrier in the astral realm, illuminating all the distorted concepts here, preventing any deity from escaping and making that hazy, clear light afraid to fall on its intended destination. On the wilderness, Teriope, who was rushing towards the misty, hazy place in front of the information flood, discovered that the remaining dozen meters had become winding and tortuous, twisting back and forth, as if it had become a maze that he must navigate. Outside the maze lay ethereal darkness, filled with brilliant stars without any paths. Once entered, one would become lost, unable to find an exit. A control over journey in space wielded by high-sequence beyonders over the door path. Though there must be a door and exit, there must be a door and a destination. They could set the exit as the furthest point and turn the journey into a maze. This was a kind of seal with time constraints. After restricting Teriope's movements, Madame Magician, floating in midair, wearing her silver-starred black robe, split into 9. Behind each figure, different colored planets appeared. Is she about to hit him with a planet? What is happening? A terrifying, immense gravitational force emanated from these figures, tearing apart the maze that had trapped Teriope, seeming to slow down the flow of time itself, causing the light of this area to flow towards the planets, unable to shine along its intended path. Teriope, who had just reformed his body and plan to immediately release multiple spells using his previously added information to force the enemy back, felt invisible hands grab onto parts of his body, his head, his neck, his ribs, his leg, his other places, and pulling forward. He was about to be dismembered. He had no choice but to informationatize again, becoming ethereal. This information flood was also being torn apart, pulled outward by streams, but the main structure remained undamaged. When Lumion teleported to this wilderness, he saw the scene of 9 Madam Magicians surrounding an area ravaged by a space-time storm. She genuinely just summoned like the concept of planets or some bullshit and is using their fucking gravitational force to tear him apart. What is happening? All the figures were flickering, switching between false and real at a speed that made them inextinguishable. Seeing this, Lumion unhesitatingly took out the phone manufactured by the god of steam machinery and tossed it to the air. The figures suddenly merged, no longer flickering, and Madame Magician's fixed position was exactly where Lumion had thrown the phone. She caught the phone with one hand and opened the mini-program. At this moment, from within the space-time storm being torn apart in that danger-filled area, streams of ethereal transparent information surged. Information. She's about to shred him. He became information, and Stiano just created something to shred information. She's gonna say, "All right, send all the information here into the phone and shred it." I see it. At this moment, from within the space-time storm being torn apart, from within that danger-filled area, streams of ethereal transparent information surged, reforming Teriope's figure. He was only wounded. The overall structure of his information hadn't collapsed or been compressed. Compared to before, he seemed slightly shorter. His fierce wolf's head, that should have been part of his right chest, had moved to near his neck. Both hands appeared at his navel, and his legs were of uneven length. Mystical reenactment. This is what Toriobe looks like right now. These were all caused by information misalignment, but his overall balance remained. Madam Magician's figure vanished again from midair, and seeing this, LEMMiNO retreated to the edge of the wilderness. Having achieved his wish, Toriobe immediately transformed into a complex, transparent information flood rushing to the collapsed pit. Instantly, he saw the path become twisted, and he was trapped in a maze again. Madam Magician had returned. Just then, Toriope's information flood from within the maze dispersed and vanished. False information Toriope had created for the enemy. Meanwhile, his concealed true form had quietly reached the entrance of the secret passage. Madam Magician, wearing her silver-starred black robe, suddenly blinked to the edge of the exit, blinking right in front of Toriope. He had anticipated this, and his information flood dispersed into multiple entwining streams, preparing to bypass the enemy from all sides. During this, even if some parts were intercepted, as long as the overall structure and balance remained, he wouldn't die, at most be missing a limb or some spells. Seeing the streams of transparent information about to scatter, Madam Magician raised the phone and pressed the activation button of the information shredder. The phone screen grew dark as if all the light had been absorbed, emitting an overwhelming gravitational force. Streams of information Toriope had broken into changed direction, rushing into the phone. Madam Magician's face and back of her hand had also showed signs of writhing. Trickmaster is like Magician, but like worse in every regard. Like, hugely. Not even just like, oh well, kind of worse. No. Like, hugely worse in every regard. Essentially, these were a form of information. These were the information of the surrounding wilderness and haziness behind it. Yes, but there's... Even once you go up to sequence 7, you're not as strong as a seer is at sequence 7. However, they existed in very stable form, effectively resisting the overwhelming and gravitational force emanating from within the phone screen. As streams after stream of information entered the phone, a scream erupted from the depths, a scream that was panicked and terrified as if encountering a nemesis, a scream that was information and also seized. After all the Toriope information had entered the information shredder, and screen quickly regained its brightness, and one use after another, crystals formed from increasingly transparent information as if they were spat out, like a monster spitting out bones, the beyonder characteristic of a sequence 2 sage of the mystery prior. An angel had perished, and all the crystals had been spat out, and Madam Magician threw the phone back to Lumion. "Hurry," she urged. She planned to teleport back, changing her robe to help. This would only take a second or two, as she wore 2 layers of robes and only needed to remove the outer one. Lumion caught the phone imbued with the God of Steam and Machinery's divine power and latest research results, and teleported. His destination was the deep in the wilderness at the entrance of the secret passage. In the library, with its messy shelves but numerous books, Ohias, another one of the 10 pillars guarding Avalon, had come to where the mystical items were sealed. He held a mask that seemed forged from gold, a mask that was asymmetrical, not even a regular pattern on one side, being smaller on the other, but rather chaotic. The left eye socket large and hollow, and the right small. The left nasal bridge collapsed, the right prominent. The left cheekbone protruding, the right drooping. One of the Grade 0 artifacts possessed by the Order, obtained during the chaos of the War of the Four Emperors, named Solomon's Mask. He had chosen it amongst the remaining 2, preparing to go support Vice Admiral Rita or his peer Sids. Unfortunately, there were only 3 demigods currently guarding Avalon, the 3 of them plus the chairman, and they couldn't even find another saint to use the last artifact. The negative effects of the artifact were too lethal for any Beyonder without godhood. I could only hope that chairman or vice chairman can return to take out the post-apocalyptic scripture and then repel the invaders or lead everyone to escape. No one cares about the reader pathway? Hope. We are the reader pathway. Ohais looked at the sealed information, praying that the mid-sequence warlock and the dark side would find their way. With Solomon's mask, he could no longer use those artifacts. If these artifacts couldn't be put to use, the Moses Ascetic Order's chances of victory would decrease further. And if they had to retreat, they would have to abandon them. At this crucial moment, regardless of whether one sequence was Sequence 5 or not, those who could use Grade 1 artifacts should take control of them. Glancing at the mask, Ohais gritted his teeth and put it to his face. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna be like, damn. I'm part of the Moses Ascetic Order, and I go, damn. No, Ohais, give me a Grade 1 artifact. I'll figure it out. I'll be fine. I'm gonna take it and I'm running away. I'm running away immediately. I'm running away and I'm selling it on the black market. I'm stealing it. I'm like, no, give me 2. I'll figure it out. Fuck these guys, bro. Y'all get mollywopped in your own house. I'm not sticking around for this. Glancing at the asymmetrical mask, Ohais gritted his teeth and put it. Don't say no wonder you have a monocle. The black gold mask writhed as if trying to merge with his flesh. Ohais groaned, his entire body growing much larger, and at a moment, a figure reflected in his eyes. The figure was barefoot, wearing a simple robe with a tree bark belt around her waist and black hair, swaying. Madame Ariana has arrived! Oh my god! Bro, you're so fucked. You could have 5 masks of Solomon, you're getting mollywopped. Oh my god. In a sea of grayish-white fog all around, Professor, periodic table, and prototype were either leaning against the ship's railing or their face flushed and throbbing, or crouching down, covering their ears, curled up, grabbing, and pulling at their own hair, as if trying to rip off their skulls, trying to relieve the pressure. Jesus Christ, we've already been streaming for 2 hours. We're so fucked. Seeing their reactions, Franca couldn't help but look over to the hangman and say, was there any way to alleviate this problem? This was a problem that even a spectator's placate couldn't solve. It was not a mental confusion or emotional outburst, but simply their brains being flooded with so much information that they would simply pass out. So Madame Magician had not participated in the information and the actions of the Blue Avenger, nor had she provided corresponding charms. Of course, to bear the power of a demigod, the materials for the charms had much more special requirements than before, and not something that could be made just by wanting to, unless the power level was suppressed, making it equal to only sequence 6 or 5. Mr. Hangman thought for a moment and said knock them out. That might help. Makes sense. Franca turned his gaze to the others. Just then, the conditions of Professor and the others eased. Phew! Franca sighed. After a dozen seconds or so, everyone gradually recovered slightly, although some still looked rather pale and trembling. No wonder you compared the danger we may encounter to the hidden sage infusing knowledge. It's about the same. Those knowledge really came alive, rushing towards us as if they would tear us to pieces if we didn't study them. This was significantly different from the hidden sage's indoctrination, but as Professor and the others had a similar experience, the corresponding amount was small and did not cause severe pain. Who is the Celestial Master? Prototype asked. I'll tell you later, Franca sighed. She then smiled at the Professor and the others. Your mission is accomplished. Really? We don't have to do it again? Did it succeed? The others asked. They were clearly more relaxed, with a barely disguised joy. Our part is done, Franca said. But the results from the other side remain unknown. Mr. Hangman nodded and said, return to port! In the dark side of Avalon, Cat Leia had left the area with a broken stone pillar, escaping the battle with Rita. She was now in a pitch-black corridor with light seeping at the end, not leading to a room, but an open wilderness. Kami, you got my hopes up. I thought Hermit was gonna beat someone of her own pathway who was a higher sequence. She just ran away. As she walked, Catleya couldn't help but look back. She wanted to help Queen Mystic deal with Rita, but decided to leave. It was Queen Mystic? I thought it was described as a guy. This was because first she had seen the queen take out a black crown inlaid with, bro, she's abusing the fuck out of this out of this uniqueness. Holy shit. Anytime she's gonna be fighting a fucking mid-sequencer and be like, watch this. Second, she herself was not yet an angel, and the ugly duckling could only be used one more time. The brief 10-second could not turn the tide of battle, and may even affect the queen's performance. And third, she had other things to do. And who is male and has the same color hair? Her brother? I don't know, who are you asking? And same eye color? Her brother. I don't know what he looks like. I can't remember, okay? If you're gonna try to tell me it's the fucking bum bitch brother, I don't remember what he looks like, okay? She felt that the remaining filth of Avalon was... Wait, what? And third, she had other things to do. Catleya turned her gaze forward, continuing to fly through the pitch-black corridor with a faint light. She felt that the remaining filth of Avalon was hidden in the darkness and could not be illuminated on the side. The fallen state of the remaining warlocks, the pain of Beyonders of the same sequence being forcibly infused with knowledge by the hidden sage. It's Bornova Gustav. Okay. Why do you say that like he's an important character? Who gives a fuck? Like, am I supposed to give a shit? Like, these guys, his other children have genuinely just been bums. They haven't done anything of value ever. And I'm supposed to be like, oh my god. Oh my god. Fuck off, I don't care. Catleya turned her gaze, continuing to fly towards the pitch-black corridor with a faint light at the end. She felt that other remaining filth of Avalon was hidden in the darkness that could not be illuminated on the sides. The fallen state of the remaining warlocks, the pain of Beyonders of the same sequence infused with knowledge by the hidden sage, and the screams of those on the edge. She too had once experienced similar pain, teetering on the edge of control. Relying on Mr. Fool, she had initially guaranteed her own safety, and her withdrawal from the battle between Queen Mystic and Rita was to ensure that there was no accidents on the chariot Lumion side, to ensure all the Beyonders of the Mystery Prior Path were rid of this hidden danger and never had to worry about knowledge infusion again. Of course, knowledge would still be spread, just not quite as frequently or terribly. Last time he was mentioned was 1,000 chapters ago. I know, like, I'm genuinely just a LARPer. Why did I not immediately think, oh, they mentioned someone with chestnut hair and he's a male. Oh, well, I know one character who has chestnut hair. Obviously, you guys know that I know that it's Bernadette, but, okay, male. Now, Bernadette has, I believe, 3 siblings. It could be any one of them. However, we have also heard of one of them specifically in the story before. He held a very minor part in Volume 5 of Lord of the Mystery. I'm like, who gives a fuck? Who is that guy? Oh, I'm sorry. It's fucking, he had, oh my god, he had such an important part that fucking no one knows his name. Who gives a shit? I'm sorry, what? What are we talking about? Come on, guys. Come on. Let's stop being nice and let's start getting real. Roselle had one good child. And even she's kind of teetering, okay? Klein gets Eridus from him? Wow. Huge. Of course, knowledge would still be spread to individuals, just not as frequently or terribly. Cattleya flew faster and more resolutely, for there were more important matters waiting ahead. Finally, she passed through the light at the end of the corridor and arrived in a boundless wilderness. At this moment, the crimson moon shone from above, casting a faint blood-red hue over the entire wilderness, but without substantial effects. Cattleya looked and saw Mr. Chariot's Lumion standing by the sunken pit, and Madame Force. Is Teriope dead? At a true god's own hands, with a restraining tool, how could he not be? I have sealed all his characteristics and will distribute them according to Mr. Fool's wishes afterwards. As she spoke, the wilderness began to tremble, with the soil, weeds, and stones continuously peeling off into the void. Avalon was created by Teriope, and now that he was dead, it would wither. The hermit nodded and walked over to Lumion. She and Magician stood on the left and right, and one in front, one back, guarding against unexpected occurrences. Oh, basically now they're just guarding the entrance to make sure no one interferes, and they're like, Mr. Fool's gonna get that bum bitch. See? Ariana was mentioned the same 1,000 chapters ago. Wrong. Ariana was first shown in like volume 3, I think, maybe 4. Then she played a relatively big part in 5 because we talked to her pretty often. Then she appeared in volume, I think 7, I want to say. She appeared several times and was like, "Hey," and even the Evernight goddess said, like, reach out to her. If you want to talk to me, just talk to her. And I was like, whoa, like this lady's important. Don't say it was the fucking one, and don't put her in the same camp as fucking Bornova Gustav. Don't do that. The crimson moonlight hung in the sky, outshining the sun, making all the continents, oceans, and islands seem to be draped in a faintly sinister veil. In the capital of the Rorstad archipelago, in the city of generosity, Bayam, Mr. Star Leonard sipped a cup of Fermo coffee with milk and sugar, glancing at the pedestrians rushing home. Most people in this world knew the blood moon brought misfortune. Old man Sua and his brothers have been quite patient, not making a move yet, and those angels serving the Great Mother haven't made a sound, Mr. Star muttered. And a voice echoed in his ears. If they attempt to rescue the hidden sage and come to destroy the Rorstad archipelago, then it's not a big deal. The fact that there is nothing means that there's trouble. Mr. Star understood. This meant the existence of the hidden sage was no longer of great importance to the evil gods or the Great Mother. Adam, holy piss, dude. Long time no see, buddy. Is it because she's a girl? No, it's because her feet are out. It's because those grippers are out, Hope, okay? If you must know. This meant this was troubling. Didn't the Great Mother also intervene and suppress the Orthodox gods, Mr. Star thought? Since the existence of the hidden sage would weaken the resistance forces within the barrier and reduce the chances of new gods being born, they should try to save him, but it's no longer a key issue, something they can choose to do or not to do. Leonard picked up his coffee and chuckled. Indeed, there is a sense that the situation is worsening and the apocalypse is coming. After taking a sip of coffee, this demigod of the Church of Evernight and a major arcana holder said, "But no matter what, we must save ourselves. No matter what, getting rid of the hidden sage is good and can increase the hope of resisting the apocalypse." With that, he raised his head, gazing at the sinister moon.
At first, I was like, feet, as a joke. But bro, I don't think it's a joke anymore.
Kami, bro, I've given you too much power. I've given you too much power. Hope, we must stop him. No. In the mysterious unknown realm, compared to before, several mountain peaks now emerged. A vast sea appeared, and countless crevices formed. The Hidden Sage's location was also composed of information, and with the fooling, the information would naturally undergo changes. After nearly 20 seconds of battle, the Hidden Sage, who had still not recovered from the surprise attack, was pierced by that cane. Dude, 20 seconds! The ethereal point of the complex information, like a giant snake, collapsed towards the tip of the cane. The dissolved glow crumbled, and the countless information squeezed together, compressed into a dark spherical ball. And with all of the withdrawals of the star-studded cane, it exploded. The overall structure of the information was thus destroyed. Stream after stream of information fell and dissipated, and from them a new crimson emerged. These crimsons grew rapid, about to coalesce, bringing new life, and with a gesture of Mr. Fool's cane, the surrounding void bent down, herding all the crimson together, sealing with them a small ethereal dark sphere. The ethereal sphere, along with the crimson, vanished, but the disintegrating information and the light completely disappeared. No characteristic extracted, nor did a uniqueness emerge. Mr. Fool turned his gaze to the other side of the unknown realm. An ethereal glow resembling a giant snake emerged, and then a shadowy figure with countless black and white eyes, backup and hidden information. The Hidden Sage still had more than one such hidden backup information. Countless black and white eyes spun, coalescing into ethereal symbols, flooding the Fool's mind with a terrifying amount of useless information. Did you know the plastic ends of shoelaces are called aglets? The figure of the Fool, inundated with countless pieces of useless information, froze, his head exploding into a mass of maggots. These maggots disappeared, leaving behind only a pair of black gloves and a cane inlaid with star fragments. Amidst the thin mist that permeated the mountain peaks, another figure descended. Once again, the Fool. The black gloves and star-studded cane immediately returned to his control. Just now, that was a historical projection, of course. On the black shadow that the Hidden Sage had transformed, the protruding black and white eyes rotated, reflecting the Fool once again. He now wanted to escape. This is not to say that he lacked the courage to destroy his current body and revive using a backup. Hidden information from other locations, for being such a living uniqueness, would not be too painful. The reason restraining him from making such a choice was the designated backup. To receive the uniqueness, the Hidden Sage had to, before death, actively choose and activate, and thus information could potentially be traced and located. As the embodiment of the mystical knowledge, the Hidden Sage naturally knew the specialties of his current enemies and what role the Dark Barrier had sealed off the unknown realm and the permeating grey fog. Note to Wiz, remove Wiz. Bro, Kami, this is literally, if I go to switch music right now, it takes like 50 seconds before I can even do anything. Even if I wanted to, like, you literally control the fucking music side. Even if I wanted to, I basically have no access. From the designated backup information to receive the uniqueness, the Hidden Sage had to, before death... No, hold on. If he did not activate it, the uniqueness would naturally transfer to the nearest backup, allowing him following the proximity principle, and the Hidden Sage had hidden other backups within this unknown realm. When he initially made these arrangements, his idea was that if a powerful enemy arrived, he would try to drive them out or outright kill them and claim the spoils by reviving twice, and if 2 revivals failed, it would mean he could not win, so he would let himself be killed a 3rd time and revive for my information hidden elsewhere. In other words, the Sage was not panicked. After dying twice more, he could truly flee this unknown realm without being tracked. His current plan was to try counterattacking, and if that didn't work, just wait to be killed, rather than self-destruct. You forget, you were working with the Fool here, bro. You're about to resurrect and he's gonna go, uh-oh. There was an error, and instead of using 1 resurrection, you actually used 8,000 of them, and you just died. Oof. Information underwent loss, degeneration, errors, and chaos in the process of backup. This was a fundamental rule, a manifestation of error, decay, and entropy. The more times the information was backed up, the higher the probability of problems arising, the greater the latent chaos. If the hidden sage were to revive using a fourth set of information, the hidden errors may emerge, and the enemy behind him symbolized error. Yeah, but then I can just do that on the fucking second try too, bro. In this matter, self-destruction would lead to more significant degeneration and amplification of chaos because it started from an internal source. In the black and white eyes that reflected the fool, an ethereal figure now emerged. One was 0 and the other 1. In the cognition of the Mosaic order, each number had its spirituality and its own meaning. Of course, numbers did not possess power, but they could correspond to occult implications. And one of the hidden sage's core abilities was to imbue numbers with power, giving them truly different. Somewhat diminished symbolic forces. Amongst them, 0 represented chaos, the unknown, and what existed before everything, and 1, the beginning, the oldest one, and the creator. The 0 and 1 within the eyes underwent a change. They connected end to end, flowing from the rapid tunnel, shifting from 0 to 1, then 1 to 0. Accompanying the appearance and flow of the zeros and 1s, the unknown realm became transparent, and whether it was the realm itself, or the darkness, or the grey fog, they were all now composed of 0s and 1s, clusters formed by these numbers. Anyone learning coding? Wait, it's all 0s and 1s? Always has been. The figure of the fool underwent a similar change, crawling over his face, his gloves, and countless worms, transparent or brilliant, all woven from 0s and 1s. Under the hidden sage's influence, vast numbers of 1s were turning to 0s. When 0s dominated the majority, the numeric world would collapse and disappear to nothingness, unable to impede the hidden sage's escape. Even the fool would be affected, unable to locate and track in time. Suddenly the fool vanished. He appeared in the sky, filled with digital fog, thrusting the star-studded cane down. Do you think Klein, because I think he used to be like a software dev or some bullshit, is looking at this and going, damn, it reminds me of my wage slave days. Suddenly, the dark barrier confining the unknown imploded inwardly, causing the diffuse grey fog in the unknown realm itself to crumble inch by inch, generating a series of terrifying spatial temporal storms. The fool had proactively plunged this numeric world to destruction. The raging storm swept past the hidden sage, surrounding disintegration and collapse. The hidden sage was not alarmed, but delighted. This destruction not only caused the last backup information in the realm to be destroyed, allowing him to truly escape the fool's pursuit, but also lifted the barrier, throwing the situation to chaos. Even if he fled directly or activated the corresponding backup information, he wouldn't need to worry about being tracked. The unknown, the hidden sage, with his countless black and white eyes, let the world collapse, and the spatial temporal storms tearing ravage upon itself. This was reduced to stream after stream of ethereal information tinged with crimson. Just as the hidden sage was about to fade and revive, the left hand of the fool, not holding the cane, reached out. The ancient tolling of a bell echoed through the world on the verge of collapse, and the hands of the illusory clock pressed down. The raging dark storm, the collapsing mountains, chasm, and seas all froze. In this scene, the only ones able to move were the fool and the hidden sage, which had already collapsed into multiple information streams, but not yet had vanished. The fool had not included the hidden sage within the time freeze. The black cloak behind the fool bellowed, and the face under the black hat became dim and obscure. Fooled. In the wilderness, LEMMiNO had received the cue, jumped into the fog, filling the sunken pit with a phone in hand. Pushkar, yo! In the wilderness, LEMMiNO having received the cue, 13 months. God damn, I genuinely dislike anyone who's been a member for a year at this point, because I hate seeing that fucking photo by your name, bro. As LEMMiNO's figure appeared within this destruction, scene paused in time. Hope, 11 months, goddamn. Alright, one more and you get the fucking disgusting ass photo. We can talk about it. God damn, 1 month. God damn it. Fuck. He sensed the wait, Pushkar, now that like it's been a month, can I like change it to something nice? Like, you know, something cool? Can we talk about it? He sensed the aura of the child of God. No, that's the aura of the Great Mother. The Great Mother has come to save me. The streams of the hidden information rushed towards the uncloaked Lumion, whose radiant countenance was now revealed. Not only did he then feel he had been saved, but also believed there was a chance to turn the tide. If the Great Mother personally intervened, what else could not happen? Lumion raised his hand, holding the phone, displaying a small program towards the front. At this moment, the freezing hand had reached its limit, and the destruction resumed its progress. The hidden sage's information surged more frantically, affected by this evil god's aura, personage, and the current state. Lumion's skin began peeling away and chunks of flesh writhing, about to sprout black and white eyes. Both corruption and impact, but Lumion did not flee or abandon the phone, standing still and savoring the pain and ecstasy. The aura of Valista Tudor, the seal of the underworld doused, and the pitch-black pinhole in his palm had all been activated, his mind descending to chaos as if he had gained knowledge he shouldn't have. He smiled. Looking at the frantically surging information, he smiled brilliantly. I've come to find you. I told you I would find you. Piece by piece, the flesh on Lumion's body began to fall, each bearing the mark of the black and white eyes, but he remained motionless, gripping the phone. Finally, the hidden sage's information had reached its destination, and Lumion pressed the information shredder. The phone's surface turned dark, drawing in the remaining light and the disembodied information. The hidden sage became lucid, but it was too late. The phone had transformed into a vortex, sweeping in all transparent information. Seeing this, Lumion no longer held back, igniting the corruption himself. Igniting the corrupted Lumion with the fire of destruction. Amidst the violent burning of the flames, restraining his frenzy and repression, he turned to ash with a horrifying smile. The real him had died. And the corruption spread to the mirror, and the him in the mirror also died. Only the dormant mirror, hidden away beforehand, remained unaffected. The phone's barrier lit up, portion of ethereal glow composed of complex information trying to break free. The fool descended in front of the phone and Lumion's traveler bag, with the collapsing, disintegrating unknown realm. The hidden sage cried out, "Spare me! I will pledge loyalty to you! Spare me!" The fool's voice was cold, incisive, yet somewhat gentle. "You have harmed too many people." He raised his cane and pushed the hidden sage, struggling, back into the phone. And in the depths of the phone, a chilling sound like a monster gnawing on human bones echoed. "You killed my mentor. There was not a chance in hell you were surviving, little bro." Wait, I forgot. I'm going to 70. I thought I was going to 72. I'm going to 77. I feel like I've asked this question 4 different times. Fuck me. Jesus, man. Pushkar, that's what I'm gonna do, man. I'm gonna stream games and stuff. And then we're just gonna like, and then I will stream not every day and make videos. I want to make a volume 7 video, a volume 8 video, and then put all my videos together to make a comprehensive LOTM video, and then just make one COI video, because I feel like COI is like 6 cool parts, and I just want to talk about them all and just be like, the rest of the book is garbage. You just read 10 chapters here, read 15 chapters here, read 7 chapters here, and you've read all of COI. That matters. Everything else you can just leave. I'm gonna be like, yeah, your comprehensive guide to read COI. You have to read 86 chapters, okay? Everything else just fucking leave. The indiscriminate sound of chewing came from the phone. The fool raised his head, casting his gaze upwards towards the blood-red moon that was illuminating everything. The huge, round moon gradually returned to normal, its radiance fading until only the crimson hue remained. At this moment, the previously dark phone screen lit up. You didn't like LEMMiNO? I did not. Nope. I did not at all. I'm lying. Out of those 86 chapters, 20 of them are just about them fucking. Everything else is, who cares? Mr. Fool wakes up. It's expected. We know this. This symbol was projected out, carried by the power contaminated by the information shredder, hidden in the phone by the god of steam and machinery. It scanned every continent, every island, and every ocean. One by one, the backup informations hidden by the hidden sage were located, the overall structure destroyed, and the information dissipated. When the special symbol returned to the phone screen, the hidden sage transmitted its final burst of information, a scream. Aboard the Blue Avenger, everyone was startled for a moment and looked around. Did you hear a whale? No, Franca said. I didn't hear anything, the hangman replied. We all did, but it was faint, as if it came from far away. Yeah. Don't worry about it. Hearing strange sounds in these waters is the least we can expect. Just ignore it. And gooned until daybreak. Okay. Hope, I appreciate that you did that when you read the book. You like read it and you're like, ew, I have to read this. And you went back, closed the fucking washroom door, and you're like, okay, I'm sorry. I appreciate. Listen, I don't know. Listen, I'm glad you feel comfortable sharing it with us. I didn't particularly need to know that about you in particular, but like, hey, I appreciate that you're feeling so open. Have you guys seen the Jinxie clip? This is what it's reminding me of. Okay, I don't know if you guys have seen this. Okay, hold on. I love this clip. Is so fucking funny.
Who in the chat is bricked up? Type 1 in the chat if you're bricked up, 2 in the chat if you're soft, 3 in the chat if you're confused by the question, 4 in the chat if you like turtles. 4 in the chat.
Like, why would I don't understand? Why 4? Why is 4 the option? 3 because of 4 is a great answer, Excess. 1 because of 4. They exchanged glances and said, wait, no, hold on. I think on the bright side, maybe it was the scream of the hidden sage before he died. Franca smiled. Everyone looked at each other. Maybe. The hangman said. What? Already? Franca thought. The hidden sage's wail had pierced the ears of every warlock, alarming the 10 pillars of the Moses ascetic order. They either made prophecies based on it, or through the spiritual intuition, discovered that something was amiss and relocated. Rita, the dragon scholar, and Sidzin Ohias, who had wielded Grade 0 artifacts, were affected, falling into disadvantaged positions and perishing. The completely destroyed unknown realm had rapidly shrunk into a vortex, and the fool, holding Lumen's traveler bag, watched as the floating phone erupted. Spraying and spraying, the phone began expanding as if about to be ruptured. It did explode, and a dull, apathetic eyelash ethereal eye was ejected, falling into the fool's palm. The scattered phone components, tinged with a crimson hue, wriggled as if about to give birth to new parts. They were blocked by the sudden darkened void and retracted, quickly converging within the ethereal sphere and dissipating. The fool, along with the beyonder characteristic that had been expelled, had vanished. Lumen felt as if he had slept a long, dreamless dream, and his entire being calm and peaceful within the embrace of darkness. After an unknown period of time, he opened his eyes to find himself in the void and shadowy realm behind the mirror. He stood up and stepped out of the glass, his eyes reflecting the ancient, dilapidated palace used for the Research Society's gatherings. Behind him was a giant stone chair on which the sleeping mirror he had made for himself, its surface marked with dark red patterns. A prearranged preparation. With Madame Hella's help, he had placed a sleeping mirror in the nation of Evernight to isolate. That's actually crazy. He placed one of his hidden backups in the nation of Evernight. Brother, you're not getting found there. Hold on, give me 1 second, guys. Thank you. Sorry, my dad just dropped off some food. Love that guy. This was a prearranged preparation. With Madame Hella's help, he had placed a sleeping mirror in the nation of Evernight. As for why he didn't choose the area above the Grey Fog to place a sleeping mirror, it was because they would have been isolated not only from corruption, but from LEMMiNO's own resurrection. That's hilarious. Unless it was the Fool himself, or he responded in time above the Grey Fog, LEMMiNO's characteristic would not have transferred to the area near the Fool's throne, and his consciousness and spirit would not be restored. Moreover, this kind of resurrection required passing through the Grey Fog, and there was a high possibility of other forms of corruption. LEMMiNO recalled the previous events, confirming the Hidden Sage had voluntarily entered the effective range of the information shredder. He picked up the large, stone chair-mounted mirrors and brought it up to the surface. The mirror, the size of the head, reflected a beautiful face with shallow blue and clear eyes. LEMMiNO spoke to the mirror. The Hidden Sage is dead. All the warlocks need no longer be forcibly indoctrinated. The gorgeous face broke into a relieved smile, and after a few seconds, LEMMiNO recited the corresponding incantation to leave the dilapidated palace. Jenna, who was responsible for the cleanup, had returned home and released Ludwig from one of her mirrors, a precaution in case Jenna's luck was too poor and she encountered the Moses Ascetic Order's saint. Ludwig licked his lips. So much delicious food and he didn't get any. Are you two okay? Frank asked. Whether I'm okay or not, the important thing is that the Hidden Sage is not. Madam Magician said the spoils will be distributed by Mr. Fool, Jenna said, but Madam Magician didn't take these from me. The gains from her cleanup. I will help you, ask Mr. Fool. Have all the warlocks in Avalon been eliminated? I've cleaned up those who have fallen and become evil, and they're still in a period of silence, but I don't know about the hidden aspects of Avalon. I handed them over to Ma'am Hermit, who said that she would select a batch to send to the Church of the Fool for reform, and the remaining ones for her to reform. With a pleasant mood, LEMMiNO asked, have you discovered any secrets in the hidden aspects of Avalon? I don't know. While Jenna shook her head, LEMMiNO paused. Mr. Fool has called for an emergency meeting, he told the others. Above the Grey Fog in the majestic palace, several figures emerged. The major arcana holders involved in the hunt of the Hidden Sage. Good afternoon, Mr. Fool. Madam Justice was the first to stand and bow. Seemingly, due to the death of the Hidden Sage, many warlocks had been saved, and her tone was now lively and energetic. All the major arcana holders had finished their greetings and reseated themselves. And Mr. Fool rapped the edge of the table and spoke. The dragon scholar Rita was killed, but she did not fully die. There was a skill related to resurrection and concealment within the mystical reenactment she enacted. But this is not important. Our main purpose has been achieved. After hearing Mr. Fool's announcement, LEMMiNO's heart settled. The Hidden Sage was truly dead. Dead beyond dead. At this moment he was so joyful he wanted to break into a dance. The Fool looked at each participant and said the uniqueness of the Hidden Sage belongs to the god of steam and machinery. The Knowledge Emperor characteristic containing sequence 9 through 1 will go to Bernadette, including the assistance she provided in the dream. The Church of Evernight will receive the Destined Madness Grade 0 artifact and the characteristic of Sid's. In addition to these, we have obtained several Grade 1 artifacts. The rest are ours. Hearing Mr. Fool's explanation, LEMMiNO, who had fought the Destined Madness, was stirred. Why did the Church of Evernight choose Destined Madness? It conceals a secret that needs to be excavated, the Fool spoke. Our main gain include the Sage characteristic from Toriope, the Grade 0 artifact Solomon's Mask and Post-Apocalyptic Scripture, as well as 9 Grade 1 artifacts, including 2 related to Clairvoyant, 3 to Mysticologist and 1 to Manipulator, 1 to Pallbearer, 1 to Alchemist, and 1 to Arcane Scholar, and various mid and low sequence characteristics, as well as some Grade 2 and 3 artifacts. Mr. Fool turned to Catlea. This was a continuation of your mission, the result of your previous efforts. You may choose first. Mr. Fool, I wish for the Sage characteristic. Sage is sequence 2, if that pathway is in? Two, yeah, the sage. The fool then looked at Lumion. Your rule was crucial. The key to the complete demise of the hidden sage. You can choose the second. Mr. Fool, I want the potion formula for Weather Warlock. Whether he had spoils or not didn't actually matter to him. Clever, nice. This is a bonus, the fool spoke calmly. You may also choose a grade 0 artifact. Oh, my generous go. Let's go. He's poor, but he's so goated with the sauce like that. I choose the post-apocalyptic scripture. He felt that according to Mam Hermit's previous explanation, the Solomon's Mask must correspond to the angelic level characteristic of the Black Emperor pathway. The Black Emperor pathway and the Justiciar pathway were neighbors and could be switched. Madame Judgment was a friend of Madame Magician, so he didn't wish to take that. The post-apocalyptic scripture is related to the Fate pathway. The Solomon Mask is yours. He turned to Madame Magician and said, Madame Magician was momentarily taken aback. And you? You're the main force, yet you don't keep the angelic level characteristic or the grade 0 artifact? Leaning back in his chair, the fool spoke. I don't need them. The death of the hidden sage is what I wished for most. Oh, he said, bro, I did this just for the sauce. I don't even want it. Keep this shit, bro. The go. Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's so good. He said, bro, I don't even fucking need he said, what, an angel level artifact? Do you know who I am? Brother, I've touched them. I can just pull them from the fucking historical void at any point I need. Oh wow, the Solomon Mask is cool. Back, mine. Old Neil is avenged. It only took, what would you say, freaking 2,500 chapters, something like this. All right, guys, let me just eat. I'm just gonna grab some water and let me just my dad just brought me some fruits. I'm just gonna eat those really quickly. And let me just put you guys on a brief, like 3-minute mute, okay? On just some fruits. You just some watermelon and some, I think that's cantaloupe and some like grapes and shit. I'm just gonna do like a 3-minute break. I'll be here. I'm just gonna grab some water and then I'll be just nomming here. As soon as my favorite fruit, if you can get like sweet mangoes, then mangoes, but if not, then watermelons for sure. Because mangoes are either super sweet or they're like disgustingly sour, and if it's the sour ones, get me the fuck away from here, okay? Yeah. All right, I'll be back in 1 sec, all right? Do.
Crazy how time flies when I wonder if the path is in the right direction. But I do believe things come to light by accident when it remains on. Sounds like it's meant to be. Oh, the journey starts from where we did first step. No one's there's an ending too. As we go, we'll come across many predicaments. Feel like lies beneath colors of love that's excellent. The picture fade away, beauty will remain the same. Only time will tell the money through the thieves. Longer we wait, may it be this way to keep standing by for answers. Scouting is the pain. Only from their heart what reaches to the sky. Ups and downs, it goes for years of an each on the right. As you go, believing the faith and
Did you know that some people have never eaten a good, actual good mango? I pity those people more than life itself. Good Lord. God. What is life at that point? Why bother? Sorry, I'm back. You're probably part of them, bro. I've shit out more mangoes than you will ever eat in your life, Kami. Don't even think about it, okay? Bye, Harsh. Thank you so much for coming. Very good mangoes. They were fucking great mangoes now. I think they treat them. The words of the giant with earth wisdom. What? What are you talking about? Oh, I have seen this guy. I know this guy. And if you think about it, that's pretty insane or something. I don't know. So guys, any plans for the weekend for you guys? Lazing around, nice. I'm so excited. I don't have anything this weekend. I'm gonna sleep the fuck in. I'm gonna do fucking nothing. Me and Chris are slated to play. Me and Chris are slated to play Valorant tonight. I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna do literally nothing of value all day. They got mad on their whole team. Let's go, Kami! You beat the rest. Let's go. So you guys are winning then? Because I thought you said they were the only ones that were beating you, right? No, you started early today? What? Oh, stream. Yes, I did. I did put it in. I listen, I scheduled it as early as I could. No trouble in 2220 mode, but tournaments 4v4. Vanilla plus Minecraft server? We could do that. It's cool. I could get it set up. Okay, 1073. Post-apocalyptic scripture. Hearing Mr. Fool's words, Madam Justice suddenly felt happy. She felt that Mr. Fool's state had improved quite a bit. Madam Magician, upon hearing this, no longer said much and said, I will defer to your will. If she were really allowed to choose the spoils, she would have chosen Solomon's Mask. The ability of this artifact would be a great supplement and enhancement for her, and for Madam Judgment. And in the future, it could also become a choice for her transition to the angelic pathway using the Justiciar path. As for the potion formula of the sequence 2 Entropy Duke of the Black Emperor path, Mr. Fool had possessed the Black Emperor card for a long time. The chaos of these years, the spread of the evil god's faith, and the frequent occurrence of various events have made Geo, the Chaos Hunter, digest her potions quite quickly, and she's about to complete her advancement to Angel. So Geo's a sequence 3? The high sequence beyonders of the Black Emperor pathway seem to have the trait of body gigantification. Same for Nast. It would be quite suitable for Geo to switch over to that path. She said, bro, Geo's a tiny bitch. Is your favorite path still Monster or Hunter? Monster, absolutely. Mr. Fool then turned to the Hangman, and your choice? Esteemed Mr. Fool, I would like the Grade 1 artifact formed from the Mysticologist's characteristic. His ability, characteristics, and the sealed artifacts of the Hunter path he had obtained on the Blue Avenger treasure were already quite overwhelming, and he lacked the stealthy means to achieve his goals. Alright, Miriam's spellbook is yours. Mr. Fool then turned to Justice. Although Justice had not directly participated in the action, she had woven the phone from the dream for Lumion, which was already prepared to provide spiritual and mental healing for the participants in the hunt. Additionally, she had made a substantial contribution to the awakening of Mr. Fool, and so far had only obtained the revelation related to the ancient dragon. Mr. Fool, I wish for the Grade 1 artifact formed from the manipulator characteristic, as I owe someone a favor. The Fool nodded and turned to Sharon. Protecting the City of Silver and the Roasted Archipelago was also a contribution. You represent the Temperance faction and can take a share of the spoils. Sharon nodded and manifested a piece of paper, and on it wrote, Grade 1 artifact, formed from the Mysticologist's characteristic. As I thought, Lillian muttered, based on 2 reasons. First, as the representative of the Temperance faction, she would certainly feel that her faction's contribution was relatively small and should not take a grade sealed artifact formed from a Sequence 3 characteristic. Second, between Mysticologist and Alchemist, the Prisoner pathway would most likely choose the former. LEMMiNO had collaborated with Sharon and the Knight of Swords before and knew their fighting style. Alchemist, on the other hand, was known for the Savant path for creating wondrous items and puppets, and didn't quite match their style. Crazy that Monster and Hunter are probably my least favorite of them all. That's because you have no imagination, Pushkar, okay? You want to say like, oh well, I like Seer the most. Yeah, that's because you've just seen the most of it, okay? You're lazy. Think harder, Monster. You just need to be a Sequence 7. That's it, and you can make like the best life ever. What? You're just laughing, bro. Monster has nothing, man. Monster has luck. I need nothing else. Alright, Eye of Omniscience will belong to the Temperance faction, Mr. Fool nodded. The last to choose was Leonard. Alchemist, I want to make a self-playing piano, he said in a dazed manner. What the fuck is that? Lillian thought. Is he a child? Mr. Fool spoke for only a few seconds and said, okay, the Creator's hammer's yours. Seeing that all the participants' major arcanas had chosen, Lumion said on behalf of Jenna, Mr. Fool, how will the mid and low sequence characteristics and mystical items obtained by the 7 of Cups be distributed? The Mysticologist characteristic and related materials formed by Ohias' death will be given to the 3 warlocks who went into the depths of the Fog Sea. After pulverizing and recomposing them, this will be able to help each of them advance 1 sequence, a decision that was made even before the emergency meeting. Now Professor was a Sequence 5 Constellation Master, and Periodic Table and Prototype were Sequence 6. Mr. Fool continued, the mid and low sequence characteristics and items in the Seven of Cups possession will be divided into 3 parts, one for her to keep, one for the Two of Cups, and one to be handed over to the Church. If they wish, they can use any of the 2 parts they keep to exchange for Grade 1 artifact. Yes, Mr. Fool, Lumion felt this distribution was very fair. Old Neil, who played the piano when he died. That's so sweet. This not only addressed Jenna's lack of the same sequence items, but also left room for the 3 demonesses to develop followers and spread faith. Mr. Fool then turned to Temperance faction Sharon. The remaining items are to be entrusted to the Church for safekeeping. The Church referred to the Church of the Fool. Yes, Mr. Fool, Sharon said. As she finished corresponding, the beams of light flew up from the grey fog behind Mr. Fool, landing in front of each of the major arcana. Madam Magician was a symbolic black and gold mask, so the extreme in its appearance was distressing to look at. Madam Hermit was a fist-sized, sparkling diamond of sacred and wise light. Madam Justice was an object covered in grey wrinkles resembling both a brain and a heart. The Hangman was a thin book, bound in human skin. Madam Temperance was a transparent, pure gemstone eye. Mr. Star was a complex grey and white metal hammer. In addition to the Weather Warlock potion formula in his mind, Ohias' mysticologist characteristic, and related items in front of him, Lumion also received an old yellowish-brown book. She is a disciple of silence and cannot speak. Okay, Hope, I got it. God, she wrote it. Max, how's it going, man? And it felt like... The book was made of tough, thick sheepskin parchment with no symbols or words on the surface. Only a bit of mercury-colored light fluttering beneath the texture of the paper. At the same time, information about the post-apocalyptic scripture had emerged in Lumion's mind. 0. Perhaps an item formed from a soothsayer of the fate pathways, foreseeing some future events and losing control, or it may come from an even more ancient era. Listen, is it by chance that we were speaking about the monster pathway and now we get a monster pathway like high angel level artifact? Is that chance? Is that good luck granted by the monster pathway? Should I go to the casino today? These are questions beyond our ability to know. Who knows? The external form is an ancient book made of sheepskin parchment with a mercury-colored specks of light and a rough texture. The book has no text, but will randomly display some prophecies, some of which will be true, some false. If you believe the false ones, prepare to avoid or welcome them, they will become real. What? That's huge. If you believe the false ones, they'll come true. So it just tells you true prophecies. One can use mental intention to write in this book about how different results will occur for people or events due to good luck or bad luck, and they will have a high probability of becoming real. Even if the final outcome does not match prophecy, it will be similar. If the situation is chaotic with many choices and only a few paths leading to good endings, one can open the book and provide a revelation. And it will provide a revelation. If this revelation can be correctly interpreted, it will guide the inquirer to the best possible outcome. If a non-godhood wielder holds the book, they will immediately be plagued with misfortune and die miserably, or turn into a monster controlled by the book quickly. Huge. That's even better. At that point, I'm just walking, I'm like, someone bumps me on the street, I'm like, hey, that was not nice. And he goes, hey, go fuck yourself. I go, oh wow, okay. Toss him the book. Get fucked, idiot. If a godhood wielder holds the book, they will suffer misfortune within an hour of using it, the degree of which is randomly determined, but it will not lead to death. This book will randomly select some living beings within 30-kilometer radius and bestow misfortune upon them. Let's go! This book will intermittently display various prophecies related to the holder, most of which are bad, some of which are true. Some are false, and if the false ones are believed and acted upon, they become true. A method of sealing is to create a space with no living beings with a radius of at least 30 kilometers. Place this book in the center and press a 20-sided die on the surface. 20-sided die? D20? D&D? Is that by chance? Knowing this information, LEMMiNO calmly considered how to use this artifact. The misfortune after using it can be resolved through luck enhancement ritual or exchange of fate fragments, gifting the misfortune to someone else. As for the intermittent prophecies, I'll just pretend I didn't see them. Whether false or true, I've been living just fine without any prophetic abilities. That's so dumb, what? Regarding the problem of randomly bestowing large-scale misfortune, I'll need to ask Mr. Fool or Madam Magician for help. Either deceive post-apocalyptic scripture into thinking there are no living beings within 30-kilometer radius, or expand the traveler bag size to the size of a city. As LEMMiNO was pondering, the scripture flipped a page. Suddenly, amongst the rustling sound, the book stopped and said, "In the year 1368, as July fades to its final days, crimson shall rain from the heavens." Immediately, the number changed. In the year 1360, as July fades, in its final days, crimson shall rain from the heavens. It was currently the spring of 1359. Remembering the information about the apocalyptic scripture, LEMMiNO decided to pretend he hadn't seen it. Regardless, he would have to move at his own pace. 1359. 1 year. Just then, the scripture flipped another page, revealing, "I see Lumion Lee going crazy." Hold on. This book is so good at rage baiting. It's amazing. I love it. These mercury colored words were written in Hermes. LEMMiNO raised an eyebrow, snapped the ancient leather bound book shut, and pressed down on it. He then looked up. "Mr. Fool, how should I seal this? Can you provide any assistance?" Shrouded in the grey fog, Mr. Fool gestured with one hand, and LEMMiNO's traveler bag, which had been left on the battlefield, flew from behind the stone chair to its owner. As LEMMiNO caught it, he found the space behind it had been isolated, enough to contain an entire city. And in the center of the space was a 20-sided die. I thought the materials for the bag wouldn't be able to support a city size, so I'd need to order a custom one. Mr. Fool remodeled it? "Thank you, Mr. Fool," LEMMiNO bowed. He raised his head and saw that Ohias's Beyonder characteristic had been pulverized and recomposed, divided into a Sequence 4 characteristic and 2 Sequence 5 characteristics. Seeing this, Ma'am Hermit across from him said, "I will provide the potion recipes for Mysticologist and Constellation Master. I will provide a drop of mystical creature blood," Madam Magician sighed. A truly comprehensive service, aiming to help the professor and the others advance a sequence. LEMMiNO thanked on behalf of the members of the Research Society in his mind. He then pondered the Weather Warlock potion formula Mr. Fool had just provided. Main ingredients: skull of a weather giant, core of a mist jellyfish. Supplementary ingredients: 30 milliliters of blood, each from 3 deceased individuals who died in extreme weather conditions. 500 weather strands of weather giant's hair. 500 strands? So you're telling me I gotta rip off a whole bunch of your hair and go 1, 2, 3, 476, 470. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? 500 cigarettes. 5 weather giant crystals, a segment of tree branch struck by lightning, 20 milliliters of first snow melt of a region each year. Advancement ritual: forcibly change the weather of a region without external aid in a very short amount of time. Note, after the 4th epoch, weather giants and mist jellyfish no longer exist. So weather warlocks now exist in the form of angel or sealed artifacts? Of course. Hunter was the pathway of war, so the corresponding creatures or a species were hard to conceal, and they were likely to incite conflicts and disaster, making them easy to notice. Even the 500 cigarette scene didn't actually have 500 cigarettes. Oh wow, we got a actually Andy over here. Furthermore, after the clashes of the previous epochs, even if there were still creatures corresponding to other warlocks, they would be subsidiary gods with complete characteristics, or angels. LEMMiNO then focused his attention on the ritual. Without external aid, this is difficult. It would need to be a region the size of Trier. Relying on Demoness's frost abilities to affect Trier would take a long time. With external aid, it would be quite easy though. Could the core of the ritual be about allowing me to master the secrets of weather changing, using a small force to leverage a large-scale change, like a hurricane at sea? It starts off not bad, just a cyclone, and strengthens and sweeps an entire area. Am I going in that direction, or it doesn't satisfy the very short condition? I need to find a way to accelerate. Time to study again, I suppose? Actually, there's a shortcut, like the Sequence 3 Sea King. They can completely change the weather of a region. If I kill one of them during a storm, wouldn't the weather change? That wouldn't involve external aid. Can't use items during the battle, or does that count as external aid? My mirror person has arrived. He is my mirror person, but he of course shows my past self before I took the Sequence 7 hair grower potion or Sequence 7 turkey visitor potion. He shows my past. A hunter's advancement does indeed have a hidden shortcut: hunting and fighting. As LEMMiNO was pondering, Mr. Fool answered some questions from Hermiton and the other major arcana holders. LEMMiNO then asked, "Mr. Fool, why was the hidden sage made to come to life by the Great Mother?" It was not that the Great Mother looked down on the hidden sage, but how was this accomplished? The knowledge taught by a magician during the 4th epoch, the world's greatest defenses against the evil gods were still strong. LEMMiNO, the Fool replied, "The problem lies in the Western continent." Western continent? Isn't there a layer of the celestial where they seal beyond the barrier? The hidden sage's way of addressing that entity is Great Mother, not her true honorific name. What does that mean? Right, with the hidden sage's level, he should be qualified to know the Great Mother's full honorific name and not fear corruption, so why would he still not use it? It can't be that he was afraid of affecting Mr. Fool, right? LEMMiNO felt that Mr. Fool's sentence contained much information, but he couldn't decipher it. Mr. Fool did not provide any further explanation and said, "The gathering shall now conclude. Your will is our will," everyone stood up and said. In Trier, in the luxurious villa, seeing LEMMiNO come down, Frank asked, "How'd it go?" Although her main tasks were liaison, persuasion, and protecting personnel, so her contributions weren't too significant, this did not prevent her from being interested in the gains. LEMMiNO recounted everything and said, "Do you want to exchange for a grade 1 artifact?" "Of course we do," Franca said. "Even if we only keep 1/3 of those mid or low sequence characteristics, it'll be enough for us to develop followers in the true region, maintain believers, and be quite prosperous." She didn't dare say "spread the faith" aloud, because in the Trier region, the Church of the Fool cannot actively spread the faith. This area belongs solely to the Church of EBS and God of Steam and Machinery. You watched the Bleach episode yet? I have not, no. I'm gonna watch it after. Franco was thinking that afterwards, they would focus on seeking out and striking against hidden cults, developing salvageable believers to their side. "Which one do you want to exchange for?" LEMMiNO asked. Jenna considered and said the Demoness is already quite good at mystical arts. Choosing artifacts formed from a mysticologist or clairvoyant wouldn't be able to fill gaps. As for clairvoyant, we have intuition, magic mirror divination, and even post-apocalyptic scripture we don't urgently need. True, if it was a living mysticologist or clairvoyant, I could teach them ancient myths and hidden knowledge, and as long as some of it was true, it could help them create powerful fairy tales. But sealed artifacts can't listen or accept guidance. Of the two, I'm more inclined to the pallbearer. The name alone tells me that it must have powers in the domain of death, which can make up for Jenna and my weaknesses. Our single target attacks aren't deadly or explosive enough, aside from curses and the mighty blow. Plus, as it's from that planter pathway, must have healing abilities, which can be used to respond to believers, drive away afflictions. But the problem is, this is an item with godhood. The godhood of the planter path is the mother path. Mr. Fool said you need to keep away from the mother. Didn't you previously tell Luganar to minimize contact with you, and only contact through prayers? It's not that you need to keep away, but that Calamity needs to keep away from the mother, and Jenna and I are also from the Calamity paths. Since Mr. Fool didn't say you can't choose this, there shouldn't be any major problem, Lumin said. In that case, you can petition Mr. Fool expressing your willingness to exchange for 1/3 of the mid and low sequence characters for a grade 1 artifact, and ask if the Calamity Pathway Beyonders can choose the one corresponding to Pallbearer. If not, we'll choose the Arcane Scholar. That works, right? Sequence 3 of the Savant Path. I can find the Beyonder characteristic and handcraft a fully automated healing machine to respond to prayers. Who knows, maybe it can make me a Gundam in the future. What the fuck? Well, the reason is the manga was rushed, and the mangaka Kubo is the one who's overseeing everything, right? He oversees each episode's making. He says he's like I get to do stuff that I didn't have the chance to do in the manga. He's like, I wanted to do all this, I just didn't have the time. Because they gave him a very short timeline of like end Bleach, and he was like, what the fuck are like, this has been running for a decade and a half, what do you mean? Or like a decade, what do you mean? And they were like, yeah, you got like a month, wrap it up. I'm like, what? With this settled, Lumin is about to have either Jenna or Franca pray to Mr. Fool, but Franca stood up with a beaming smile. It is time to distribute the spoils to Professor and the others. Happiness shared is greater than happiness alone. Everyone had already been brought back to Trier by Franca and were currently gathered, as instructed, in the villa rented by Hela. Their families and the previously assembled research society were all there. Seeing him, Hidden Blade and the hooded, masked muggle emerge from the mirror, everyone said, when can we go home? Before they could speak, they suddenly saw items float between the Hidden Blade and Muggle. One was a vague, gem-like orb emanating a gloomy aura, as if gaze pierced from within to scrutinize everything. The other two luminous spheres. What? I feel like Bleach is the one anime in like 10,000 that has gotten a decent fucking outcome after the manga got fucked. I feel like every other scenario it's like, oh yeah, the manga got ruined, yeah, get shit on. What is this? The professor asked. Your reward. I didn't mention it before, but if the operation is a success, we would like to help you each advance a sequence. Everyone was stunned. After a few seconds, the professor said, we don't need a reward. Being freed from the forced indoctrination is plenty. Yes, everyone agreed. After hearing the words, Lumin recalled his own thoughts as well as the sense Mr. Fool had said. Uniqueness, artifacts, or characteristics, none of it mattered. All that was important is that the Hidden Sage is dead. Thinking of it this way, the Hidden Sage's death is not in vain. From a god to a common warlock, there were so many volunteers with the urge to kill him. Franca could understand the perspective of the others and smiled. You may not want it, but we will give it to you anyway. Otherwise, others will say we are stingy and miserly. Don't worry, all participants will receive a generous reward. As a secret organization with over 2,000 years of history, the Moses Ascetic Order have plenty of resources. You destroyed the Moses Ascetic Order? The professor asked. We have destroyed Avalon, and as you all know, that was the headquarters of their order. Their chairman is dead on the spot, and 2 of the 10 pillars have died. Rita fled in defeat, and the remaining pillars have either betrayed or in hiding. Effectively, the Moses Ascetic Order is dead. You are no longer members of the Moses Ascetic Order because the Moses Ascetic Order no longer exists. From now on, you needn't complete their tasks nor report to anyone. As I mentioned, as I mentioned at the gathering, the apocalypse is likely to come within a year or two. So wouldn't you take a chance to advance your sequence? Wait, one of these guys advanced to a fucking demigod, right? That's crazy. The reward of helping the participants advance the sequence is not actually very fair, Franca said. Why should the professor become a demigod while you are only mid-sequencers? Dude, Hope. Showing Sukuna v Gojo in theaters would, like, it could fund the economy of Japan for a year, genuinely. And this is where you, Professor, must take on a greater responsibility. If you truly become a mysticologist and a demigod, you will need to help periodic table and prototype afterwards, providing them with the necessary protection. Also, before leaving Trier, if you encounter trouble that cannot be resolved on your own, recite my honorific name. As long as I'm not caught up, I will come to help. Lumin realized that Franka wanted to develop the others who had lost protection of the Moses ascetic order into her own anchors. Anchors didn't necessarily come only from faith, but also from solid interpersonal relationships. Now, the others were at a stage where the future was uncertain, and whether having an organization to rely on provide resources. The research societies gathering were more like a trading platform. It was very suitable for Franka to extend an olive branch. Even if the professors and the others left Trier, Franka could give them self-locating mirrors to communicate remotely and use them to spread the faith of Franka Roland. However, Franka was still too self-conscious, considering the professor and the others as friends and fellow transmigrators, and without thinking of developing them into believers, let alone recruiting them. Lumion did not take the opportunity to introduce his own honorific name. Honorific name? Are you already a Sequence 3 patron saint? Everyone else thought? 2 gatherings ago, Hidden Blade was only a Sequence 5. Previously, when Franka said she was already a demigod, everyone was more envious, but now all their understandings have been overturned. Franka said, coincidence combined with the uniqueness of being a transmigrator. In fact, Muggle is also Sequence 3. What? She probably understood why Lumin didn't take the opportunity to reveal his own honorific name. He hoped Muggle would still be a rower. Well, everyone looked at Muggle. She's a patron saint as well? What the fuck is happening? Yes, I'll forgo telling you my honorific name, Lumin chuckled. Anyway, Hidden Blade and I have been staying together recently, so asking for her help is the same as asking for mine. The reason we were able to advance so quickly while remaining normal is because transmigrators have special qualities. Professor, if you become a mysticologist, you can try drawing on power from fairy tales, myths, and urban legends you heard of before you transmigrated. Some of them should be real. Lumin's suggestion would lead to a certain degree of exposure to the secret of transmigration, but as long as the professor became a mysticologist with the core ability of mystical reenactment, she should discover the corresponding issue herself. Everyone looked at each other with puzzlement, able to sense the discomfort of Hidden Blade and Muggle. Where's the cathedral that you are the patron saint of? They asked Franka. In Livigny Docks of the Square District, and Saint Franka Roland of the Church of the Fool. So you are from the Church of the Fool. This operation targeting the hidden sage was led by them? Yes, Mr. Fool himself lent a hand, and the god of steam machinery also provided assistance. Muggle assisted with the sidelines. Hey? A Sequence 3 saint can participate in divine wars? Her task was to serve as bait. Okay, just keep these characteristics and corresponding ingredients safe. They've all been sealed, so you needn't rush. Adjust your conditions before advancing. This is a drop of mythical creature blood, to be used in the ritual. After celebrating the death of the hidden sage with the professor and the others with champagne, Franka and Lumin returned home. With Franka volunteering to pray, after all, he was a fellow countryman. Franka set up the altar and performed the ritual, reciting Mr. Fool's honorific name. Esteemed Mr. Fool, I would like to exchange the mid and low sequence characteristics and mystical items placed before me for a Grade 1 artifact. As a Beyonder of the Demoness Path and a close friend of the Chariot, do you think I am suitable to go with the one corresponding to Pallbearer? Soon she heard Mr. Fool's voice. There was some risk, but it can be done. Esteemed Mr. Fool, I would like to exchange for the one corresponding to Arcane Scholar. As she's finished speaking, she saw all the items in front of her disappear, and immediately an object flew out from the candlelight, a half mask, the left side, composed of numerous gears, rivets, bearings, springs, and small tubes. At the same time, Franka received a rush of information. Name, Face of the Arcane. Originated from the death of an arcane scholar in the 4th Epoch, the exterior is a left-face mask made of machinery possessing a living characteristic. After donning the mask, it can emit a beam of light from the eye guard, capable of destroying the structures of most items, thoroughly disintegrating. The wearer of the mask will possess extraordinary manufacturing abilities, able to create mystical items or complex mechanical devices, or combine the two. Remember, the mask is the master when doing these things, not the wearer. It always leaves one or two hilariously terrible negative effects of its own products. Wearing this mask can allow one to truly extract environmental information and work backwards. The mask's wearer can quickly grasp the relevant information when using the mystical items, effectively avoiding negative effects. The wearer of the mask can imbue the item they create with souls, giving them a certain degree of vitality, but remember that these are not created out of thin air. They come from fragments of spirits of the mirror world, extracted from the lives around them. Bye, Bushcar! Oh my god, this stream has been so long. What the fuck, guys? I've had so many 3-hour streams this week. This is nuts. Every 3 minutes, this mask drains life force from its wearer. When the mask's life force... But ask Chris. I'm thinking we finish today and then we just do 10 chapters tomorrow. When the mask's life force drips below a certain threshold, it will drain the life force from living creatures within a 5-kilometer radius. The rate at which the mask's life force decreases depends on the frequency of use. If left unused, it can last up to 7 days. If frequently used and unable to replenish life force, it can only last 45. Technically it was 77, Chris, but... The mask, possessing living characteristics, even when in use, it must be closely monitored, or it will attack the wearer and its companions. The mask yearns for a complete body and will entice the wearer and those around it to gradually replace their bodies with mechanical constructs. You're saying go to 1077, Chris? Those enticed by it will have their life force drained, will not have their life force drained, nor will they be attacked. The method of sealing is to let it sleep, replenishing its life force at regular intervals. It can be persuaded. A sealed artifact that can be persuaded with living characteristics. LEMMiNO extended his right hand towards the face of Arcane that Franco was looking at. Okay. During this process, he had already activated the aura of at least a tutor within the underworld Taoist. On the mechanical mask that only covered the left half of his face, the springs, rivets, and other opponents appeared to lose their elasticity and relaxed. It was like watching a snarly puppet lie down, legs up in the air. It can be persuaded, LEMMiNO smiled. At that moment, Ludwig came over. Can I eat it? He wasn't asking if the mask was edible, but rather if he was allowed to eat it. No, LEMMiNO said. After becoming a sea monster, Ludwig seemed to be able to directly consume characteristics and mystical items. He wouldn't lose control from this, but it would accumulate madness and appetite. Disappointed, Ludwig pulled out a lollipop. Being able to be persuaded means it can be reasoned with. Isn't sleeping once a day a normal habit? LEMMiNO said. Bro, we're about to get LEMMiNO threatening the fuck out of this mask, like Azek threatening the shit out of a creeping hunger. Before long, Anthony should be able to become a sequence 4 manipulator, and when that time comes, if the child doesn't want to sleep, we can hypnotize it too. Children who don't sleep will be eaten by Ludwig. As for the requirement of replenishing life force, LEMMiNO thought it was easily solved. He now had to take Ludwig out to sea for a feast every day. After confirming that the face of the Arcane had lulled itself to sleep, Franka handed the Grade 1 artifact to Jenna. Keep it safe. Whoever needs it can use it. I know which path Julian should take, Jenna said. Which one? Savant. The Savant pathway preliminarily focuses on mastering scientific knowledge, enhancing memory and intel, and logical reasoning. Unlike Mystery Prior and other paths, it doesn't involve high spirituality, seeing things that shouldn't or hearing things that shouldn't. It doesn't involve disaster, and makes life safe. Moreover, Julian is already a technical worker who loves machines. Just 1 or 2 months of additional knowledge, he should be able to digest a potion. The subsequent archaeologist is equally straightforward. We can find safe ruins for him to explore and provide carefully selected historical artifacts and documents. Given these conditions, approaching the apocalypse as a prerequisite, he could become a Sequence 7 quickly, and while an appraiser isn't particularly strong, they can identify items and maximize risk avoidance. At that time, by giving him a Sequence 6 artifact, or Sequence 5 artifact, we can provide him with basic protection, basically making him equivalent to a quickly molded Sequence 5. Additionally, amongst the mid to low Sequence Beyonder characteristics and potion formulas I obtained from the Moses Ascetic Order, the Savant pathway ingredients are the most numerous. When you think about it, Savant is indeed the most suitable. It effectively leverages external powers without reckless archaeology. Frank agreed? I agree. Yes, you can modify your previous plan now. The key is to naturally and reasonably get your brother to encounter and choose the Savant path. Yes, Jenna said. Thursday afternoon, Julian, wearing a grey-blue worker's uniform, a flat cap, and carrying a suitcase, stood in the crowded second-class carriage. Dude, Jenna, you bitch. Pay for his fucking first-class upgrade, bro. Standing nearby, 1.75 meters tall, with flaxen hair and regular features, his half-year exchange study had greatly boosted his confidence in his technical abilities. He believed he would soon be highly valued, receiving promotions in rank and salary. Once my salary increases, we can move away from Rue Pasteur to a better neighborhood, and Celia doesn't need to work part-time anymore. She can just focus on studying. With each step, he had a firm gait and he was steady. Following the flow of people, Julian exited the steam train and relatively clean platform, entering the northern train station. He looked around, searching for his sister. As he searched, he noticed many travelers' gazes towards one corner, reluctant to look away. Though curious, Julian didn't want to see what the commotion was. He wanted to see Celia. After walking several more steps, he spotted the familiar figure. The person everyone was staring at, his sister. Her face had no makeup, yet appeared fresh and clean. Celia seemed to have grown even more prettier, more beautiful than Mom's photos when she was young. "Welcome home," Jenna said, giving her a hug. Meanwhile, she grumbled inwardly. It really is inconvenient for a demoness to go out without concealing her appearance. Even with using light to adjust my features to look more normal, I still draw so much attention. "Let's go," Julian glanced at the eager men around them and guided his sister out. Jenna pointed to a double-decker public carriage. "This one's already full, let's wait for the next one." "Let's take one of those back. I've saved some money." During this time, Julian pointed to a rental carriage. He expected his frugal sister to object, but to his surprise, she immediately nodded. She was like, "Oh, thank Christ." It was like, I was gonna get groped everywhere in that fucking thing. Jesus. Like, I'm gonna have to fucking use my demoness powers to fucking freeze a couple of dicks off. After settling into the two-wheeled rental carriage, Jenna was asked with a smile, "How did your studies go?" Your letters weren't very detailed, but Julian instinctively straightened his back and thinking about the same level as the master who taught me before. Jenna offered some complimentary remarks before changing their topic. "I recently met an outstanding technical expert. She says she's a technical expert, but I don't know much about it. But when she repairs machines, she is incredible." She? Is it Melissa? Is it Melissa? She's the kind of incredible that even I can recognize. And when she said when you return, everyone could gather to exchange ideas. She? Sure. Can you arrange a time with her? He was very confident in his abilities now. "Let's go right after you put away the luggage. We'll have dinner together." Jenna quickly decided, as her previous words had been leading up to this. Julian gave his sister a suspicious look, suspecting she was trying to set him up. However, after the long separation, he didn't want to refuse. After dropping off luggage at their rental place on Rue Pasteur, Jenna led Julian to a newly built factory on the south side. Inside the factory, a young woman wearing short hair and goggles, using a hammer and pliers and other tools to work on giant machines, continuously installing rivets, levers, bearings, and other components. Her movements fluid and unassuming, but every detail perfect. No errors at all. As Julian watched, he thought, is this even possible? Even machine manufacturing machines can't have this level of precision. Could this be a blessing of the god of technology that the god of steam, that the Church of Steam preaches? When the woman finished speaking, Jenna stepped forward and said, "Good afternoon, Miss Bella." Bella. Bella's body turned, and she said with a smile, "Celia, is this your brother?" "Yes, my brother, Julian." Jenna made the introduction. Julian nodded, bewildered, his previous confidence completely shattered. Miss Bella. Do not let Melissa come to Trier. Yeah, I agree. Bella took off her goggles, revealing a face with soft features and beautiful eyes. "I heard you had just returned from an exchange study," Bella asked. "Yes." "What did you study?" Bella asked. "Why don't we exchange some ideas? Try assembling a machine with the remaining parts. A qualified artisan should be able to do it." Julian instinctively wanted to refuse, knowing there was an unbridgeable gap between him and this lady. But at this moment, his sister said, "Give it a try. It'll be your first creation. It's okay if there are flaws. Miss Bella will guide you and help correct them." Guide. He first spoke at length about how ordinary he was and how his skills were barely passing, then walked amongst the scattered parts and observed. When he picked up pliers, Bella walked over and said, "Your hand position has a small flaw." She pointed out the problem, correcting the mistake. During the subsequent assembly, Bella occasionally offered similar guidance, and her teaching either led to simple insights for Julian or made him discover that many things he found difficult became much easier. While teaching, Bella seemed to radiate an indescribable light, no longer just the girl next door from before. Every word she spoke gave Julian the feeling that she had absolute confidence. People who worship and people who were confident and had the ability to support that confidence were always charismatic. Gradually, Julian's gaze turned towards Bella like a student looking at their most respected teacher. This was a top-tier artisan that ordinary people rarely got to meet. Thus, Julian finished the assembly, creating the machine. He couldn't believe that this was his work. It was the kind that had to be purchased from the Church of Steam's factories. His gaze towards Bella even more admiring. Jenna praised sincerely the machine for a while, then took Julian home to change, arranging for Bella to meet at a restaurant later. The three of them enjoyed a pleasant atmosphere and engaging conversation. "Excuse me, I need to use the restroom." Jenna stood up and walked away. After watching his figure disappear, Julian turned to see Madame Bella and said, "You truly have talent." "No, compared to you." Who said, "You truly have some talents in mechanics." "No, compared to you, this can't be called talent," Julian responded. "I mean it. Would you be interested in becoming my apprentice?" "Apprentice?" "Yes, like the ancient apprenticeship, following me to learn, growing with my help, and after completing your training, serving for a period without pay." Why would such a top-tier artisan take me as an apprentice? Julian was surprised and delighted. Am I qualified? I said, "You truly have some talent, did I not?" Bella showed some authority in this matter. "Can a person like me ever reach your level?" Julian asked. "I can say only that there is a good chance, but it depends on you. If all goes well, you could approach my level within 6 months. Well, not quite. Afterwards, you'd serve me without pay for a year and a half." Julian's mind buzzed as if this windfall was too big. At this moment, Jenna re-emerged. "May I have a few days to consider?" Julian asked. It wasn't that he didn't want this opportunity, but rather he was suspicious of her true intentions. How could such good fortune fall to someone like me? Of course, this could be some new type of scam. Of course, Bella didn't press. After enjoying dinner, back at their rental home, Julian asked his sister, "Celia, who is Miss Bella? How is she such a top-tier artisan? She is exceptional." "So, she really is an amazing technical expert?" Jenna asked. "Miss Bella often watches performances at the theater. She's a believer in the god of steam machinery, and seemed to have a deep connection with the monks at the Deep Valley Cloister. Her title as technical expert should be certified by the Church of Steam Machinery. I can help you inquire if it's true." Hearing that Bella was a true god believer and close ties with the church, Julian's thoughts disappeared. Someone like this couldn't be a con artist, right? But we still should confirm her identity. If I could learn Miss Bella's techniques, even at 80% of her level, I could become a technical director sought after by all factories, and could even open my own factory one day. After talking with his sister till dawn, Julian lay in bed, tossing and turning, far too excited to sleep. His mind filled with images of Bella, focused, serene, knowledgeable, profound. That's all he's focused on, okay, brother? In the newly built factory, Bella watched Jenna, dressed as a witch, walk out and say, "Madame, I have said everything you have instructed." In her mind, this was Death herself. She watched helplessly as many of her companions died one by one, coughing blood everywhere. "You will accept your proposal," Jenna nodded. "For the next 2 years, you will be responsible for taking him to major cities like Suhit, guiding him to encounter mystical knowledge, becoming a savant, and helping him digest potions until he advances to appraiser. I will ask the Church of Steam clergy in the corresponding regions to help, making Julian believe you have divine blessing and are trustworthy. After 2 years, if nothing goes wrong with Julian and the development meets my expectations, you will regain your freedom. With one prerequisite. He must convert to a true god and complete the corresponding prayers." Before Bella could respond, Jenna took out a palm-sized doll, seemingly stained with dark blood from her traveler bag, and said, "If you try to escape or do anything to touch him, I will find you. And don't worry, I won't kill you. I will send you back to the future." She's one of them. She's one of the people from the Moses ascetic order that they thought could be rehabilitated. Originally, she was on the future, and she said, "Yoink, I need you." Listen. Either you can just walk around, chill, work with stuff, be laughing, or I send you back to that crazy bitch. Those are your options. Hearing the last of the sentence, Bella's face turned pale. This was worse than any nightmare she could think of. "Madam, I will wholeheartedly complete the task you have given me." A week later, in the apartment that Franca and Jenna rented, which hadn't yet expired, Julian sat across from the table. He looked at his sister and said, "Celia, there's something I wish to discuss with you." "What is it?" Jenna asked. "Miss Bella wants me to be her apprentice, like in ancient times." "Oh, such good fortune. If you can learn some skills from her, you could become a true expert in the future," Jenna said. "But she's going to serve as a technical director for a factory run in Suhit. If I become her apprentice, I'll have to go there and stay for at least 2 years. "It's only 2 years, Jenna said. "You're still young. With real skills, you'll have so much money in the future." "But you..." Julian fell silent. "I still need to study for the dramatic performance for another year, then spend a year playing supporting roles at the theater. That was agreed upon when I became an apprentice, remember? For the next 2 years, my life will be quite regular. I don't really need any help." Julian made a sound of agreement and took out a stack of bills and coins. "Celia, take these. Focus on your performance. Don't worry about money." By the time Jenna looked at her brother and smiled and accepted the cash. "By the time you return, I may be a famous actress." Damn, that actually got me teary-eyed, dude. Like, he doesn't know, obviously, that she doesn't really need them, but, like, he took out, like, all the money he had, and he was like, "You take it." He's like, "I'll be okay, but you focus on your..." He's like, "Don't worry about work, okay? That's okay, I got it." That's sweet. Damn, am I getting fucking softer in my old age? Where's this fucking... Jesus. "And I'll be an outstanding technical expert," Julian said, recalling their childhood aspirations. He seemed to have shed a heavy burden. After Julian left, Franca walked out of the master bedroom and said, "How wonderful. No hypnosis needed." Actually, there's not much difference. When I made the decision to hypnotize Julian, the matter was essentially already settled, Jenna mocked. Whatever the case, the matter has been resolved. Next, our main tasks are to consolidate the cult's followers, secretly spread the faith, and devise convincing explanations. Also, help Anthony prepare for his advancement ceremony and track down the Order of All Extinction and Zaratul. A rare period of peace, Jenna said. Thus, as Lumen and the others remained stable without bringing any catastrophe, time flew, and several months passed in the blink of an eye. That's why you wanted me to end here. It's a time skip. Fair. Makes sense, Chris. I get it. I get it. Oh, God. All right, guys, we are 3.5 hour stream. 102 chapters left. Listen, I said in 7 days I would get that number down to 99. There are 2 days left, and I have 3 chapters to go. I have kept my fucking promise. It was difficult, I'm not gonna lie to you. There were days where I didn't want to stream, and I was like, oh, fuck, man. You're doing volume enter on Monday or Tuesday? When does the volume end, Chris? What's the number? Is it after the 9 tomorrow? Is that it? Oh, 10:15. 11:15. So you're saying what? I need to read 30. Okay. So you said tomorrow we'll get to like 1088 or something, 1087, something like this. So then Tuesday, obviously, I can't fucking do... What do you expect me to do? Fucking 40 chapters on Monday? Are you nuts? I don't even know if we can get it to Monday, bro. What? If it's Tuesday, we do one batch each. Yeah, it depends on how big your fucking batch is, bro. Are you saying 15 chapters on Monday, 15 on Tuesday? Bro, come on. At that point, we read like once Wednesday, maybe once Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, we end it, basically. That's it. Shit. 100 chapters, eh? That ain't that fucking much. Last stretch, boys. It's only 3 batches left for volume 7. So, batch tomorrow, batch Monday, batch Tuesday, done. Yeah, fuck, man. 1.5 years of my damn life on this series. 1.5 years. It's crazy. And here we are. Alright, guys. Let's end it there. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow? I think you mean 10... I think you mean to 1088. I think you mean. But, okay, sure. Bye, guys.